Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the monthly masterclass for Amazon sellers just like you around the world. And our monthly masterclass, as you know, we invite special speakers with special skill sets from all over the industry. And today we have a lineup of 6 speakers for you. So hopefully you packed a lunch, grab a pen and paper, turn off those notifications, sign out of Facebook. You know who you are, right? And get ready to be wowed because looking at our guest lineup here, it looks like we saved the best for November. And 5 of 6 of these, I seem to know a lot more about. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to our very first guest. As you know, if you're just joining, my name is Sean Hart, and I want to welcome you to another electrifying episode of our monthly masterclass, where Seth and I bring you the brightest minds in the Amazon selling universe. Today, we have a marketing maestro who's like the Mozart of Amazon, or might I say, the Shakespeare of selling, the Picasso of profits. Our first guest, hailing from the powerhouse company of Sellerboard, is none other than Alex, the head of marketing, with a tool set that can make even the most seasoned Amazon sellers swoon. Sellerboard is here to revolutionize your game, so get ready. Imagine having the power to decide or decode your Amazon profits like a cryptographer solving, Dylan, this is you, the Enigma code. That's exactly what Sellerboard does with its accurate profit analytics. But wait, there's more. They've got a bag of tricks that includes inventory management because, look, running out of stock is just so 2010, right? Review request wizards, get those stars, baby. PPC optimization, hello ad spend efficiency, and listing change alerts. That's right. No more sneaky competitors stealing your thunder. And users and rights management, because at the end of the day, you're the boss, right? So get ready to have your minds blown and your Amazon sales skyrocket as Alex takes the virtual stage to spill the secrets of Sellerboard's magic toolbox. It's time to turn those Amazon dreams into profits that you can spend. Please join me in giving a warm, pixelated welcome to the one and only Alex, head of marketing at Sellerboard. Alex, please join me. Here he comes.
Wow. Sean, thank you. Thank you so much for such such a presentation. I'll have to live up to the expectations now.
I think you know what to do, my friend. Do you already have
Yes.
screen share capacity, or do I need to do that?
All right. No, I'll try to do that right now, and I'm going to give you the
We
presentation that I have
we
right
have
here.
you. All
All
right,
right. All
Alex,
right,
it's all
guys.
yours, my friend.
Let's let's
Take it
let's do
away.
this then. So basically, I'll try to keep it short. The presentation is quite long. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Yeah, I'm Alex from Sellerboard. What we do, as basically Sean said everything, we do profit analytics. This is something that we specialize in. Additionally, we have a list of automation tools. I'm going to be touching upon that for a little bit. So let's start from the very beginning. You're working at Amazon and hopefully making profit, but of course you need to be sure about your numbers in order to grow, in order to evolve. So maybe you, first of all, need to think about some small details that end up as your bottom line for your profit calculations. So do you consider when calculating your bottom line things like what was the storage fee per product, because it matters, how the inbound shipment cost influenced your bottom line. So for instance, if the competitors dropped the price, how that influenced your competitivity and your profitability at the end of the day. So, or for instance, if you have a new batch of products that's just entered the warehouse and it has another cost of goods, how will you still be competitive with this product? So, and all other things that you might necessarily not usually think about, but that need to be taken into account in order to keep your calculations profitable and to really understand at the end of the day if you are making a profit or you should get a 9 to 5. So without further ado, let me jump into the ideas that we gathered into this presentation. So these are some of the tips that need to be pointed out in order to, first of all, track your profitability and make sure that you can improve it in a way. obviously, the first advice that we come with is you need to find a way to track profitability and do it constantly. So not just think about the sales, but organize a report. So any business, be it an online business or not necessarily, needs three main reports. There's the first one is the profit and loss report, which may helps you understand whether you're making a profit or not. The second one is the cash flow report to understand if you have enough cash to operate your business. And the third one is balance sheet. So these are the three vital reports that you need, and we are going to be talking about the first one here, the profit and loss report. And you can do it in different ways, right? So calculate your P&L. You can do it by calculating units that you've sold and multiply it by profit that you have calculated per unit. That's imprecise. You can hire an accountant, but the calculations come late and they're really abstract without, any actionable things that you can transform into business decisions. And of course, you can work with the reports from Seller Central, but that's time consuming. So obviously you need a tool that will be automated. And I'm not just talking about Sellerboard. Basically, there are a lot of different solutions for that, but you need to have a system in place that will permanently, pull your current data from your Amazon account and also consider other important factors. And at the end of the day, come out with a final net profit that will show you at an account level, at a product level, whether you are making profit or not, how much, and other important stuff, that will help you make those business decisions to grow. All right, so the first advice, keep track of your profits, and obviously use an automated tool for that. The second tip that we come with is you'll need to take into account all of the costs that you can. So the first important thing here is the fact that in your central account, you have your FBA fees, but they are only an estimation. You need to take note of that. And the real fees are inside the transaction reports. So if you really want to know the real numbers, you have to always access those reports and pull the data from there. Or obviously, the software that you will have connected to your Seller Central account for profit calculation will pull the exact numbers and take them into calculation. So do not rely on the these numbers that you have in the Seller Central report without accessing the actual reports. All right, so next, the FBA fee changes. The FBA fee change all the time without any notification from Amazon. You need to also account for that. Of course, having an automated tool will always keep track of all of the current fees, so you will know that you have a real view of the situation with the FBA fees. Another important thing here is that when the FBA fees change, you can actually go ahead and verify if you're eligible for reimbursement from Amazon, because a lot of the times these FBA fee changes come from a point where not necessarily it was legit for one of the products that you have. For instance, your product was wrongly measured, placed in a different product category. So the fee changed for you, but not necessarily it's the case. So maybe there is place, to get a reimbursement for Amazon. So by the way, in Sellerboard, of course, you have a tool for that. I strongly suggest, analyzing the demo account and see how it works. Nothing special. You just pull out a report, follow the template, and send out an email to the Seller Central to the support to verify your case. So take into account the FBA fee changes. Another thing, the storage fees. Of course, I'm pretty sure you're all very familiar with the fact that they change the storage fees during the year. Of course, there's the long-term storage fee. You need to take also that into account. And in order not to do it manually, do all of these calculations. The automated tool will help you with that. Will always, use the right fees and make sure your numbers are correct. Next, of course, there's a whole list of other fees that might apply to your business model. So you'll need to understand which of them do apply. Or, of course, an automated solution like Sellerboard will always take into account all of the possible fees that are applied actually to your business model. So you will not be, surprised, unpleasantly surprised, of course, with some fees on the list that you will not really understand where they came from. Yeah, so this is also something that needs to be taken into account when calculating profit. Next, cost of goods sold. So, costs change. They change by period. They change from batch to batch or depending on the marketplace. So having a system in place that lets you take into account different prices in terms of cost of goods for different batches of products will really help you keep your numbers up to date. Of course, Sellerboard has a solution for that. So we let you calculate your cost of goods by batch, and also take, if you have a situation when you have a remainder from a previous batch, a remainder of stock, and then a new batch of products comes in, then you can take into account the remainder from the previous batch. So that will also be taken into account when doing profit calculations in terms of cost of goods. So this is something that we also cover, and you should also take into account. Yeah, these are the ways that the methods that you can use to do the profit the cost of goods calculations. I've covered that. So yeah, in Sellerboard, this is how you actually do it. So you just select the period, you create a new batch for the price, you enter the cost elements, you select the marketplace that you want to apply it to, and of course, if you have a remainder from a previous stock, you can take that into account. Then indirect expenses. So there are a lot of overhead expenses in your Amazon business that are also important and you might not take into account from the very beginning. So the software subscriptions, the photo shoots for the products, if you're doing those, all kinds of rent, for instance, warehouse, office, some consumables if you're using that for labeling and stuff like that. Your training and education, of course, that is also part of your business, and additional services, I don't know, accounting or maybe virtual assistants and stuff like that. So you also need to keep track of those expenses because they eat away from your profits, and you need to take those into account as well. So we have a tool for that, a dashboard to track all of your recurring and one-time expenses. We have the possibility to amortize those. So for instance, if you have one specific date when you pay the rent for your warehouse, and it's a large sum, and when you pay it, then on that specific day, your numbers will probably be messed up if you don't amortize this number. So what we can divide this large payment into small daily payments and take them into account daily, so you can understand what percentage of your overhead expenses take away from your profits each day in regard to this particular cost.
Hey, Alex, if we get questions, do you want me to interrupt you or you want to wait until we're finished?
Yes, I can answer the questions definitely. The only thing I fear is the fact that I won't have 30, I won't, make it into 30 minutes, but we can try and do those.
Okay, so Mark wants to know, is there an easy way to calculate shipping costs per ASIN for air or sea shipments when a shipment contains multiple different ASINs?
Multiple different ASINs. So you can use, I will not show the screen right now, but you can explore the possibility to use the purchase order module that we have in the inventory. So it lets you create purchase orders and then keep track of your transportation costs. And there you can keep track of those costs because they eventually will land into your cost of goods for the products that were in this purchase order as their cost of goods when the order will arrive. So I strongly suggest explore the purchase order module. I think that it will help you do that. So moving on, the other costs, all right. What we have next, the returns, of course. So a lot of Amazon sellers don't really understand how the returns are accounted for, how they're calculated, which stuff is subtracted, so which stuff is reimbursed when the refunds occur. So this is a very simple, visual representation. When you make an order, when a customer makes an order, and that's on the left green column, this is the total, what he pays for price and delivery, and it can be broken down into profit, cost of goods, FBA, referral fee, or shipping chargeback if that's the case. And when a refund occurs, there is stuff that's refunded by Amazon, like the shipping chargeback, referral fee. Cost of goods is a question mark because it can only be considered refunded if the item is resellable. So this is a potential loss. And everything that's up here is eventually a loss. So the FBA fee is not refundable. The profit is not refundable that you've lost on this sale. And there's an additional refund commission that's charged by Amazon. So all of this stuff adds up to a total loss. So the returns are a really major profit killer. And Sellerboard offers two main tools to work with refunds in terms of understanding what is the structure, the cost structure of refunds. You can, on an account level, or on a product level, you can break down into the elements, what are the elements of the refund costs, and see what was reimbursed by Amazon with a plus and what was, not reimbursed by Amazon with a minus. So we can really understand, how that works. And also you can see the reasons for the returns. So as you probably know, in the Seller Central, you can pull up a report that will show you the reasons for the returns, which is really essential because a lot of the times you can really do a quick fix, because if the list information on the listing is inaccurate or it's misleading, the products do not really represent the actual size or color or some particular, characteristic of the product. So the customers don't really understand the product when they get it. They are disappointed because it's not really what they expected, and a lot of this stuff, and they return it back, so you get a loss. And a lot of this stuff can be actually fixed very quickly. You just really need to understand what's the reason. And Sellerboard lets you understand these reasons because we can show you all of the reasons for the refunds on the product level and on an account level, because each time a customer applies for a reimbursement, a refund, he specifies the reason. So we pull that data and we show it to you in this way, and you can really understand, what's the reason, the main reason, and try to work that out. All right, let's go next. Sellable returns. Of course, we have the data regarding the percentage of the sellable stuff that was returned and the items that were not sellable. So you need to keep track of the fact that it might also potentially be a profit killer if you have a lot of returns. You will also encounter Amazon termination costs because there's stuff that you either will need to receive to your address or pay these additional costs for termination. So tip number 4, don't waste money on FBA errors. So Amazon, they're also humans, not necessarily only robots. So a lot of the times they mess up different stuff, so they might lose or damage your inventory. So this is one case where you may, get reimbursed for this stuff and not, lose these profits that you potentially might make. Then you have the case when some of the returns did not actually arrive to your warehouse, where clients asked for reimbursement, got reimbursed, so you got charged, but the products didn't actually arrive to the warehouse. That's the second case. The third case, for instance, the FBA fees were changed due to a wrong measurement or a wrong category placement of your product. So that might also happen, and you need to apply, for a verification. And the last one is errors in inbound shipments. So all of these 4 scenarios, we have provided specific reports and also guidelines how you should act. Pull these reports and do step-by-step stuff, easy, really easy. Send out the reports, use the templates to do the emails with the Seller Central support, and potentially see if you can get reimbursed for these cases. I will not dive too deep into how these reports look or what data you have in them. This is, basic stuff. You might have seen these reports before. We just make it a little bit easier. So let's go further. I really want to show you. Anyway, you will get this presentation probably, so you can dig into the details. The silent profit killers. This is one important thing. So as Sean mentioned, so the alerts feature is something that we've actually updated very recently. We only transformed the alerts module into a dashboard. So Now, not only you can get notified about listing changes, if the names or descriptions or photos or your relations with child, parent, ASINs, or the brand changes, or any kind of information changes on your listings, and you might not be aware of that if you have a ton of ASINs, and that is a risk because you might start losing, sales, and you might even, have bigger problems than that. So you need to be alerted about this stuff. Maybe, when your product changes its category for some reason, or your product changes its dimension, or the FBA fee changes. So, or maybe you have some reimbursement opportunities and other stuff like neutral feedback, for instance, or negative feedback. This is a lot of this stuff is actionable. So now with the new dashboard that we have, you can actually transform all of these alerts that you get. When you have these scenarios, you can set up which one you want to be notified about, and then you get the alerts. And now they're actually transformed into a to-do list because you can prioritize them, select your priorities for each scenario. And when you're done with solving one of the cases, you just check mark as resolved, and then you can, work with these alerts as if it's your daily to-do list, because it actually is. These are these things that need to fix in your Amazon business. So the alerts, actually, this is also, I don't have, a more up-to-date screenshot, but this is a dashboard here instead of the list of alerts. You can set up, if you have several people on your team, you can enter different emails to send the alerts to different people on different occasions. And I don't know how much time we still have left. I think we have a couple of minutes. I just want to quickly go through some of the other stuff. So the inventory
you have 6
management.
minutes, so take your time.
Nice, thanks. So the inventory management, there are several things we can help you with the inventory management. First of all, you do understand that if you have the risk of stock shortages, then you will have a lot of problems, because if you have advertising campaigns, those will be affected if you don't have stock. Your position in the listings will be affected if you have stock shortages and other unpleasant things. So in order to avoid that, we have a solution for maintaining your stock at a very nice level. First of all, you need to input some of the basic stuff like your lead times. And what also Sellerboard does, it takes into account your sales history and calculates your sales velocity. So having your lead times, which basically is the time needed to get the product from the supplier or to your warehouse or to the FBA warehouse. And then you have the sales velocity. And having these two metrics, we can calculate how many days of stock you have left and when will be a good time to reorder, considering the lead times, in order not to get into a stock shortage. And also we calculate and give you a stock level recommendation in terms of numbers, how much stock you should order in order not to overstock, because it's frozen money. You don't want that. And so it's not complicated. It's a very nice tool, the inventory planner. I suggest checking out also the demo account and seeing how it works. Besides that, as I mentioned, the purchase order module lets you create purchase orders, send them out to your supplier as an Excel or CSV file, which has all the information, and then just change the status of this purchase order as it, as the order moves from, ordered to shipped to finally closed. And then what will happen, we will automate the numbers in your inventory planner. So you will have the column with the number of units ordered, which will automatically transfer to the FBA warehouse or potentially the prep center warehouse numbers once you will change the status of the purchase order. And also your cost of goods will be updated. So a really nice tool that helps you work with the purchase order mechanism. And another thing, the automated review requests. It's a really amazing thing when you can you set up the campaigns for automated review requests and then just let them work, do the heavy lifting and not raise a finger. This is the exact case with the autoresponder, how we call it. because you just need to input the basic targeting things in order to for the campaign to start. And then we use the basic mechanism from Amazon that sends out a standard email with the Amazon template, and it's 100 TOS compliant. So the customer will see an email from Amazon that will request seller feedback, or product review. So this will work. Try it out. And the last thing probably that we have here, the PPC. Well, if you're working with Amazon PPC, then we have three things to offer in the PPC dashboard. First of all, a very good mechanism to analyze your PPC campaign performance on an account level, on a campaign level, ad group level, and keyword level. And two types of automation for bid automation, where you can set either a target acres that you want for a specific campaign, or a target profit margin for this campaign. And Sellerboard will either recommend you bid changes, and you can apply those or ignore them, or it can automatically change the bids for you also. And you will only analyze the output of that. This is the bid optimization mechanism. And the second mechanism is the keyword automation mechanism. So first of all, Sellerboard can analyze your campaigns and see the keywords that are not performing so well. You will set up only a set of rules, what can be considered not so well of a performance. And then these keywords will be moved to negative. So this is the first type of automation. And the second one, if you have automatic campaigns that are basically doing keyword harvesting, then we can pull the keywords that work best and transfer them to other campaigns that are doing the actual advertising. So small stuff, but it all adds up to a set of robust automation tools that can help you with a lot of different tasks in your day-to-day Amazon business management. I'm probably, this is a short summary. The first thing, have a system that tracks your profitability in place. Think about all possible costs. Keep your returns under control, of course. Understand them, how they work. Find a way to work with the FBA errors. There are different types of FBA errors. And monitor the important events in your Amazon business, because those are silent profit killers. So you need to know what's happening inside it. This is about it. Thank you so much. I'm really happy I managed to make it into 30 minutes. I'm sorry if that was a little bit too fast.
Oh, this is great. We have a couple of questions here for you, and then we'll bring in our next speaker. So Phil says, does this software work for Amazon UK? And does the profit calculator account for VAT, or can you deduct customs percentage from the total product price per sale?
Yes, both questions. Yes, it does work for all of the Amazon marketplaces, including UK, and we do have a mechanism to calculate VAT, and also to work with one-stop shop thing for the European market. So I'm not sure after the Brexit if this is still a thing in the UK, but we have that in place where you select a product category, and there are certain rules that apply in terms of taxes for that product category. So yes, we do that.
Okay. The other question for Sellerboard is that your standard option is $19 per month. Does that include 5 seller accounts, or is it $19 per month per seller account?
No, it does include 5 seller accounts.
Okay. And do you have anything special for our audience, for the Post-Purchase Pro audience and Masterclass?
Yes, so we have a link that I will forward in the chat during, maybe not in the next 5 minutes, but we will offer an additional month of free trial. So we generally give away, a month of free trial, but for the Post-Purchase Pro audience, we will offer 2 months.
Perfect. All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot for coming in, Alex, and
thank you for having me.
Our next speaker ready here.
Good luck to everybody else. Thank you. Bye.
You're very welcome. Yes, send me that link and I'll get it posted out there for all the viewers today.
Sure. Thanks.
All righty. Let me just move on here to my next screen. Sorry, you caught me in the middle of something there, Nick. All right, here we go. this will be one of your favorites today. I guarantee you. I want you to prepare to be enlightened and amazed as we dive deeper into the world of Amazon selling with our next guest. He's not just an international tax expert, he's a networking maestro who's here to take your connections to the next level. Coming to us from the cutting edge world of tax solutions, we have the honor of hosting Mr. Nick Penev from Hellotax. Nick is a trailblazer in the realm of Amazon taxation, and he's about to unravel the mysteries of keeping your finances in check while you conquer the online marketplace. But that's not all, my friends. Nick doesn't just excel in numbers, he's also a master networker and connector. He's the genius behind Scale, a tool that simplifies swapping contacts and takes networking to a whole new level. It's like networking on steroids, in his words. So whether you're navigating the complexities of international tax regulation or you're looking to supercharge your networking game, Nick is the man with the answers. Get ready to learn, get ready to connect, and level up your Amazon selling journey. Please join me in giving a warm virtual welcome to Nick Penev from Hellotax and the networking wizard behind Scale. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, Sean. Nice to see you, man. And by the way, Sellerboard have been chasing these guys for a long time, you know. Alex, still Vadi Gordon to reply to me sometimes, and we can chat. I know.
Still making connections. I told you he's the maestro.
Of course. I know, like, from the speakers today, I don't know only Alex and Sellerboard, but we're gonna meet sometimes.
All right.
For sure, Nick. I'm looking forward to it.
Of course, we have it on video. You cannot back up right now. So,
all right, it's all yours, Nick.
Okay, let me share my screen. And the good thing is we're not going to talk about taxes, because taxes is one of the heads that they wear, but just few of the things that they do. So let me share my screen, and we're going to talk about something more pleasant than taxes, which is growth and what we've been doing now on Mind. So the topic of our mastermind today on Mind is how to increase your growth 8 times with warm interaction and proactive referrals. And before we start with that, I'm going to give you like a quick introduction for myself, on top of what Sean mentioned. I am the co-founder of Extreme Power Brands and Scale. Extreme Power Brands is a partnership agency which provides partnership as a service for around 40 companies in the e-commerce space. And Scale is our new baby that we developed this year, which makes all the connecting introductions and growth much easier. I'm the partner manager of Hellotax, which is a VAT compliance provider. And actually, Hellotax is the company which brought me in the e-commerce space on the service provider side, because before that, I was an e-commerce CEO for 10 years. I was running an e-commerce supplement business with 20 brands, which I exited in 2020. Hellotax told me, can you advise us about partnership? And then one after another, I got into the e-commerce space and actually started connecting people. So long story short, in the last 3 years, I've managed to meet a lot of cool guys like Sean and Seth from Purchase Pro and another 1,500 founders. And I keep on meeting new people. Also webinar host. I've hosted and participated in over 300 webinars in the last 2 years. And the idea of all those shows is like today, just to give you value. And the last but not the least, I'm fully remote since 2010, long before it was cool. So I'm either on the beach or wherever my wife tells me. So it's simple as that. So now let's talk about what we're doing with Scale. So let me just remove that so I can see. Okay, so why are partnerships, important for e-commerce brands and service providers? The reason why I'm asking you this question is because I'm a very cheap guy in a positive way. I've spent millions when I was running my e-commerce business, and then I realized that I'm burning a lot of cash. There is a better, cheaper, and easier way to grow your company. And this is what I do. Whenever I meet somebody, I tell them, okay, don't tell me what we can do with money. Tell me what we can do without money, because I would like to help you grow, and I'm going to grow as well. So these are a few reasons why you should consider partnerships if you're not doing that, if you have a brand, if you want to start running your brand, or if you're a service provider. So the first of those things are expand your reach. If somebody is offering something that you don't offer, by meeting a new partner, you can provide either complementary services, or you can find a brand which has the same clients, but they're not competitors. You can connect with influencers who, if they like what you're selling, your product, they can actually introduce to their audience. So partner up helps you grow without spending money or without breaking the bank. The second thing, you would like to expand to a different market. What is the best way? You need to collaborate with somebody who is there, who has the knowledge, who has the know-how, who has the connection, so they can make it easier for you. Because regardless of how similar markets might seem, they're different though. Even if you go from the USA to UK, there's a lot of differences there. So having a partner would make it much easier for you. Another reason, enhance credibility. Now, if nobody knows you, how they can believe you? So you can team up with like other brands, reputable brands, or like influencers in other industries, and they can actually help you introduce your brands or your products to people in their audience already. And by you doing that, you're actually becoming popular with the partners. So this applies both for brands and for partners. The one of my favorite reasons why I need that, cost efficiency. Like I told you, I spend millions on paid advertising. So right now, whatever I do, that's how much I try to spend, zero. And how do you do that? I mean, let's say you do shared marketing initiatives or co-brand campaigns. How does this work? You have a cool product, but of course, no, you need to do some kind of promotion with somebody. So you find a partner or a partner brand who is servicing the same clients, but they're not competitors. So what you can guys do? If you have an email list and they have an email list, you can cross-promote each other. They promote your product, you promote their product. If the promotion works well, you can bundle, you can do like a joint product or like a package or whatever, and you can promote each other. So, and this is gonna cost you zero because you're not paying anybody. You're using your audience to get in front of the other partner audience. Another reason why I should consider that, product expansion and diversification. So what you need to do there, let's say you have a product, but something is missing here. Clients are asking for things that you're not providing, but then there is a partner who offers something complementary. So by doing like a product bundle, you can make you actually can sell your product easier by providing more value to the end client. Another thing, if you're a service provider, cross-selling, whenever you chat with a partner about a service, let's say taxes in Europe, when they come for taxes, they need much more than that. They need product compliance, they need logistics, they need translation. So if you just try to sell your service, sometimes you might not succeed. But if you bundle that with a partner product or a partner service, that would guarantee that the client would be satisfied, they would be happy. And even if they don't buy your service, they'll be happy that you help them out. So you're kind of doing you either make your product more valuable, you're creating your own opportunities, or you're just opening new markets and making your clients happy. Okay, and a few more reasons though. Knowledge and expertise sharing, because once I spoke with Sean and Seth, I think it was in January in one of their podcasts, and they told me, okay, do you read books? I don't read books. If I want to learn something, I meet people. So knowledge, by meeting people, by collaborating with new partners, you can actually learn things that you don't know. That's why we have this webinars, that's why we have this event. So by meeting new people, you can get outreach to innovations, improvements that you can apply in your business or brand or whatever. But of course, if you don't know, and if you don't meet new people and you're not looking to learn, of course, that's not good for you. You should have the eternal learner mindset. Mutual support, Partnerships can sometimes offer support during tough times. For example, whenever you have an issue and you cannot know how to navigate a certain market or challenge, then you can have an outreach to a partner who have done that, who have done certain mistakes, and they can tell, okay, man, you shouldn't do that, you should do this. This is what you need to change, because no matter what you're trying to do, there is somebody who has tried to do that before you. Another reason why I should consider partnership, data and insights. Whenever you have partners and you do different stuff with them, and those people have done already something in a certain market or certain niche, they already have the data and the details. So if those guys are not competitors, and if you get close with them, you'll be able to use their data and market insights to make the expansion for your product or service. Innovation and co-creation. Of course, this is probably one of the peak that you can do with partnerships, the white label partnership, like joint ventures. Of course, if the cooperation with the partner works that well, you can actually set up a joint venture and you can actually go to market together. And the last but not the least is, of course, all the stuff that you do with partners or through partners create brand visibility and awareness. And I'll give you an example. I post a lot on socials for partners, for my stuff, for partner stuff, whatever. And people think that I go to all these events. You know, hey Nick, you were in New York the other week, you were in London, you were whatever. Man, I don't go anywhere. I only go on vacations. But because I post stuff for partners, people think that I'm doing all this stuff. So this is the brand visibility. Even though I'm not doing that, I'm using my partners to create content. I post for them, they post for me, and I create the brand visibility. And people see me everywhere. And I don't pay anything for that. So these are just few of the things that you guys should consider, because here what we're talking about, there is no or zero money involved. Of course, we're gonna go into the next step. So the next question is how to find partners, because like I said, no, there is no money involved, but there is effort involved in that. And of course, there is more expensive and there is cheaper options. So what are the different ways to find partners and what are the pros and cons in that? So the first and the most obvious that you guys know is, of course, going to industry events and conferences. There is a lot of those. Sean and said they've been speaking on many of those events, so they can tell which one is good and which one is bad. But one thing in common is that you need to either pay to participate, or you have like expense like travel, hotel, etc. So if you're like a service provider, you can spend like 3,000. If you're like a brand owner, you're gonna pay at least like 3K. So this is your cost. Then what is the benefit? I mean, face-to-face interactions. Now, some people claim that by meeting people in person, you're building a stronger relationship. I highly disagree on that because I'm a remote junkie. I've been running my last 3 businesses remotely. I run my company from the beach. My employees can do whatever they want as long as they do their job. So for me, people are 2 types, reliable and unreliable. But this, I'm just BS. So don't take my word for that. If it works for you, go to events. But of course, no, it's an expensive option. The next option that you can find partners, cold outreach and networking. It's easy. There's no geo limitations, but it's time consuming. And cold outreach is cold. I mean, if you message people on socials and you would like to sell them stuff or connect with them, of course, many of them are not going to reply. So you're going to spend some time doing that. Of course, I've grown my partner network like that, outreaching to people who don't know me. But the thing is, I have a little different approach. I'm never selling anything. I just want to connect and chat with people and help each other. So if you do those approach, that would be more beneficial for you and you can do it very well. Another reason, another like channel you can use for that are social media and influencer networks. That's very good for like brands, you know, because see, there is a lot of influencers. Many of those guys have a lot of followers. Some of them make money, most of them don't make any money. And actually, by outreaching as a brand owner to an influencer, you can create an opportunity for them. Hey, I mean, if you like my brand, we can even white label it for you. You know, you can have it as your own brand, and we're gonna share. So they give you their audience, you give them the product. Without your product, they cannot monetize their audience. Of course, some people are gonna say that market is very saturated with the influencers. There's a lot of platforms. I've met several platform owners. And to be honest, I mean, these guys are not very responsive. So, and the other thing is ROI is very questionable and sometimes, and of course, it's time consuming to find a good agency. I know a few people, but it's not as easy as people are just claiming to be. And last, but not the least, no, the best way to actually grow and find partners is by referrals and recommendations. Because when somebody makes a recommendation, this means that they already know them. So it's a warm introduction. So referrals leads to warm introductions. But you know, the thing is, the issues with referrals, no, if you're having a service, no, and waiting for referrals, those referrals never come, because usually a meeting between 2 brand owners or partners, it's like that. Okay, I'm gonna tell what they do, you're gonna tell me what to do. So at the end of the call, most of the time, no, they say, okay, man, I like what you're doing, I'm gonna send you a referral. And 95% of the time, those referrals don't come. And that's why, you know, like a few years ago, I decided to build something, you know, first in my head, then of course we execute that, and we start doing introductions, or as we start to call them after that, introduction swaps. And And sometimes I even call them proactive referrals if you want to. That applies more for like business owners, but this is what is actually the motto of what we do. Don't wait for referrals, swap interests with partners proactively. So I'm going to explain in these details now how this works. Let's say you meet like somebody at an event and you would like to expand your business, let's say, to a new market. And the first option is they'll tell them, okay, can you recommend somebody if you meet them, and they say, okay, I'm gonna do that, and it never happens. And then you tell them, okay, you know what, can you proactively introduce me to some people in this market who can actually help me out to connect, to actually expand my brand. Another option is, do you have few like influencers that you work with that you can recommend and I can work with them? So by doing those interactions proactively, you create first your connections, then you actually create opportunities. So, and because of that, because it's time consuming to do it like for email, just for requests, we actually build a software, to actually exchange contacts. And this is how it works. So imagine, I cannot show you the demo right now, but I'm going to try to explain how it works. So imagine with Calendly. Calendly is the software that you can book meetings with people. How does this work? Whenever you chat with somebody, you tell them, okay, man, here is my calendar link. Go ahead and book a meeting. And you go there and select the meeting. So before Calendly, it was a nightmare to book a meeting with somebody. Okay, is it good to meet on Wednesday? Okay, no, Wednesday is not good. Is it Thursday? No, okay, Thursday is good. Is it 1 p.m. good for you? No, it's 2 p.m. So it was a nightmare. So the same thing we decided to do with our software. We build a page, which is like Calendly, but we call it Scale, where you can upload all the contacts that you know. Ideally, those should be warm contacts, like people that really know. So what happens? You just select a list of partners, you upload them to your page, then you discuss and agree with your partner. Okay, man, here is my scale page. Here is a list of, let's say, 50 partners that I know. Those could be like brand owners from a specific niche, influencers, people who run services that might be beneficial for what to do. Go ahead, check my page and select some introduction. So those people can provide all the services that you need to expand your brand, or a service that you need to actually make your product more profitable. So by requesting those interactions, you get introduced to people who can help you out, and vice versa. To make it fair for the cooperation to work, you would need to introduce them to people on your end. So the currency of what we do in our software actually connections. So we don't deal with money. Of course, there is a certain fee that you pay after you hit a certain usage, but it's peanuts for what you get. So let's imagine that you have like 10 partners. And let's assume that each of those 10 partners, they know 10 partners as well. And when I say partners, they might be brands, anybody in e-commerce or whatever niche you're in. So by using your 10 contacts as a trade, you connect with your other partners to connect with the 10 people they know. So your 10 partners would know 100 partners. So you get your 10 partners and you can actually outreach to 100 people that you don't know, which can add value to you by providing like knowledge and insights, which can provide a service that you don't know and can help you out, which can provide you some guidance, which can become a partner that you can do bundles with. So you use your connections to meet new connections. And that's pretty much how it works. Of course, so here is a short demo of how the software works now. You just select a list of people that you know. Those should be like people that you really know. Then you load them to our solution. Then what happens? Now you agree with somebody that you're going to do swaps, because most of the time, and what I've seen with partnerships is that people meet, they chat, and do nothing. So that's why we created the software, just to monetize those partnerships, to do them in a more structured way. Of course, they should have the same overlap with you. They should be in the same niche, and that's what to do. So this is like a short scheme of how it works. You send your scale page to the partner, they can view your scale page and they can request interest. Now, when they request interactions, you get the request in your tool. Hey, this partner would like to meet this guy on your page. So what happens? So you go there, you approve that, and then the software is sending an email. Hey, Sean, please meet Nick Penev. Nick Penev is doing this and that. You guys can benefit from chatting together. Vice versa, You go to his page and you can actually do the same. Of course, I mean, you can have a free account, you can test it for free. But the thing is, no, you're just remember that you're using your connections to meet new people, and of course, you will need to spend time to talk with those people. So the software is making it easier to connect with companies or like anybody that you can use to grow your company. Okay, so here is like another screenshot of what we're doing, but I think there is nothing shown, by the way, that I should explain for that. I mean, if the people have some questions, we can dive deeper into that. But just to go over some use cases, because that would be important for people who don't understand probably know what to use. So there's two different use cases that we can use. So the first thing is swap partner introduction with existing partners. What I just explained right now. You have 10 partners that you know. So you're gonna introduce your partners to the partners so they can introduce their partners as well. So like I said earlier, you're using your 10 contacts as a trait to meet new people that you can add to your network. The second use case is this is to do proactive referrals to existing clients. So let's say you're providing a service and you're selling to Amazon sellers, for example. And whenever somebody is a partner and they're not a competitor, instead of waiting for them for somebody to ask about your service, you take the action again and pitch themselves to your partner. Hey, please meet this partner. They're doing logistics. You guys can benefit from that because you guys are using our partner who is providing services now, like VAT services. Or, okay, this company is providing translations. You guys can benefit from connecting with them. And the last use case that we've seen, and it works a lot, is the so-called WOS leads opportunity. So, and this actually applies for brand owners, service provider owners. So let's say you're selling a service or a product. If you're selling a product like a brand owner, there's a lot of people who go to your website, they abandon the shopping cart, they don't convert. So for those guys, you should collect the emails because you can remarket to those guys. For the service providers, it's the same. If somebody inquired about your service, then they're a good fit. If you didn't close them, of course, that happens. Nobody is managing to close all the leads that they get. So what happens here? You create a list of your lost opportunities, and you can do a lost lead swaps through scale with partners. You introduce your lost opportunities to a partner, and your partner does the same. And like this guy McNamara was saying, somebody's trash is somebody else's treasure. So we're kind of using your swaps like lost leads or lost conversions to actually monetize them with your partner. And this is something that I haven't heard anybody to do that. And just to give an example, one of our clients, Hellotax, they have 10,000 lost opportunities. So even though those guys are not active clients, even if you convert, let's say 5% of those, that's our 500 clients, which is huge. And keep in mind, we're talking about zero cost for that because you use what you got already. You're not doing any paid marketing, whatever. You promote your partner, they do the same. I make 500 interactions, they're going to do the same. So you kind of use what you got without spending any money for that. And just to give you some testimonials for people who've been using us, know some people like Maria O'Shea, I think Sean knows her, she claimed that it would help her to launch her new company. How we did that? I mean, you just request interactions from other partners. So see, that's why we don't spend any money on marketing partnership. We make our users and partners happy, and they post all this good stuff for us. But of course, I mean, don't believe what I'm saying. The best thing would be just to trace the software for free. I mean, you can just go to this page, app.scale.com, Nick Penev, just request an introduction to whoever you want. Sean and Seth are the first contact on my page. So go ahead, test it out. And then, of course, if you like it, the next step would be to send that to your partners and you tell them, hey, man, we've been known for each other, put your contacts there. I'm going to request interaction to people on your network and vice versa. And this applies for everybody because some people claim that I know everybody in the e-commerce space. That's bullshit. I meet like 30 to 40 people each month. I've met Sean and Seth this year, so I haven't met them in all the previous years. So you always meet new people. But the one and the most important thing is whenever you meet somebody new, make sure that you do stuff with them because a lot of people talk and do nothing. So a partnership like is a waste of time if you do nothing with your partners. No. The other good thing that you should do with people, and always give first. Ask them, okay, what can I do for you? How can I help out? By doing that, you're gonna get a lot in return, and even without asking. And Sean said, I think I'm done, guys. No,
Great.
I think I was even quicker than.
I love what you said, Nick, because I've always been one to give first, but you're the first person who beat me to the punch. So Nick is definitely a giver, and you do it in wholesale because I have all these connections now, thanks to you, and everyone I've referred to you, Nick, says, "Oh my gosh, Nick is the best connector I've ever seen." So thank you for sharing this valuable information. As an Amazon seller, you could easily use this to network with other sellers, create buying groups, promotion groups, rebate groups, anything like that. And I think it works fantastic. And
Yeah.
you said it best, Nick. The worst thing you can do is make a connection, make a promise, and then do nothing, because that reflects horribly on your personality and your work ethic.
No, actually, and the other thing is you're wasting your own time, because if you don't take action, you've just spent like 30 minutes. And that's why whenever I chat with somebody, I tell them, guys, I don't care what we promise to each other. We're going to measure what we do after that. Because some people tell me, okay, Nick, let's share this commission, man. Let's do revenue share. And I tell them, we have a saying in Bulgaria, let's for sure the work, then we're going to share the benefits. So let's do something, then we can talk about commercial stuff. So
I love it. Good stuff. All right. I don't see any questions in here, Nick. I just posted the link into the chat box for everyone. So go check that out and look at Scale. I highly recommend it myself. Nick, thank you so much for sharing today. We're going to move on and introduce my next speaker. We're 2 minutes early. Appreciate you.
Thanks. Hi, Seth. Amigo.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
Bye, friend.
Hey, I thought you didn't know everybody. Get out of here, Nick.
Yeah, just one of the speakers today, but we're gonna fix that. Okay, guys.
Right.
Thanks.
Great
Thanks,
stuff.
man.
So hold on to your
Bye.
virtual seats, because now we're about to meet a visionary entrepreneur who's here to turbocharge your e-commerce journey. Coming to us from the sunny shores of St. Petersburg, Florida, right up the coast from me, please give a warm virtual welcome to Seth Hurd, the founder of Brand Expand. Seth is not just your average entrepreneur. He's a dynamo of innovation and success, with a resume that includes being an e-commerce seller and a formal founder of Natural Nutra, which he exited in 2021, I understand. Seth knows the in and outs of the digital marketplace like the back of his hand, but that's not all. He's also the genius behind Brand Expand, a B2B SaaS that's about to take your online selling game to the next stratosphere. So just imagine boosting your sales and expanding to new marketplaces with ease, thanks to the magic of Seth's Brand Expand. It's like having a rocket strapped to your e-commerce dreams. Brand Expand helps online sellers achieve explosive growth on Amazon, Walmart, Target, eBay, and other e-commerce channels coming soon through promotional campaigns, marketing research, and proprietary KPI tools. So whether you're an aspiring online seller or a seasoned pro, Seth is here to share his wealth of knowledge and catapult your e-commerce success. Get ready to be inspired and informed as we dive into the world of e-commerce with the one and only Seth Hurd, the driving force behind Brand Expand. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you, Sean. That was probably the best intro I've ever had, so I appreciate that. Thanks so much for having me. I know you guys provide more value than anyone else I know, and shout out to Nick Penev as well. We use him for our partnership management, and he does so good that I had to tell him to slow down because he was introducing us to so many people, and it was Q4, and I was like, we got so much going on. Like,
I can relate.
You, but just yeah, he's incredible, and you guys are incredible as well. So thanks so much for having me. Yeah, so we'll get started. Sean kind of took the first couple slides here with that intro, but I'm gonna dive in, tell you a little bit about our software, and then things that I've learned over the years as an e-commerce seller and now as a SaaS founder, what I've learned, and hopefully that can help you supercharge your sales on Amazon and other marketplaces as well. So let's get started here. If I share this screen, is this too long? Just wondering. I have a pretty big monitor, so
yeah, it's looking like you're using a gaming monitor. Are you playing Game of Thrones on the other side?
I got a 48-inch monitor here.
There.
So is this better?
Yeah, when you do slideshow, it just kind of makes it smaller. So I mean, but it's okay. It's okay, Seth. It's viewable. You're in edit mode there. I think this will work. Let's do it. and anyone can zoom in on that. If you don't know how to do that, you can do that with your mouse. Just zoom in on the Zoom screen there.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't. With the presenter mode, it just takes up the whole screen here. So hopefully
Right.
you can see that
You're
pretty good.
you're good to go. If anyone wants it bigger, they can just zoom in within the Zoom platform.
Yeah,
All
and I'm
yours,
willing
man.
to send this to anybody after this. Like if you reach out to Sean or reach out to me directly, I'll give you my contact info and I can share this presentation with you guys. So just go ahead and request it. So we've helped boost about 20 million in sales, mostly on Amazon, but across other marketplaces as well. We've done 100,000 products that we've launched, and we have a network of 50,000 buyers and sellers that we work with. So little history on me. So I went to school for accounting and finance, graduated in 2010. That seems like a very long time ago now. Worked in the corporate world for 5 years as an accountant in finance at big banks, Raymond James. Maybe you've heard of Raymond James Stadium. They're here in the Tampa Bay area. Got kind of, to a point where I felt like I just wanted to do more, and that I want to, get what I put out there, and you work super hard and you just, don't feel like you're making much progress. And so in 2012, I started dabbling in e-commerce. I wish I would have started in 2012, but it took until 2015 to really start on Amazon. I had $1,000 in my savings, started with a health and wellness product. I sold out of all those units within 30 days. And I'm like, I can just scale this process. A huge influential book was The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. And just using his book as a blueprint, I took that and I applied it to Amazon. And by 21, I was able to exit for 7 figures. In hindsight, it was the best time to exit. And at the time, it was, my concern was that multiples would keep going up, but it was a very good time to exit. So everything worked out. And then we funneled that into Brand Expand and our e-commerce SaaS, which, we're exceeding $1 million AR with that SaaS. So a lot of experience in the e-commerce industry. Worked with a lot of 7 to 9 figure sellers before it became Brand Expand. The parent company was actually called Ecom Consulting because I was a third party seller and networked with a lot of people in MDS, $1 Million Seller Network. They were a huge part of me getting started with Brand Expand. So a huge shout out to $1 Million Sellers. And people got coming to me and asking me for things. So I'm like, I should probably just start charging him for this. So I created Ecom Consulting, and sellers just wanted to know how to bring in external traffic to the listings, because at the time they're using all these different creative methods, stitching together ManyChat flows. They're creating email lists and trying to target to them. And it was just kind of chaos. And all the solutions out there I didn't like because I was a third party seller and I was using them. And so I was like, this is a huge opportunity. And so that's kind of how it all started. Problems that online sellers have, everybody knows this, but I just want to kind of present the problems and then why we created the solution. So you have 10.6 million products sold every day on Amazon alone, right? That's just Amazon. Internal ad costs on Amazon went up 225% from 2019 to 2022. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that with your PPC ad spend. It just skyrocketed over the last few years, especially the pandemic just kind of exacerbated that. 79% of shoppers check reviews before buying. 63% of Amazon sellers have expanded to other marketplaces. So most sellers now are omni-channel. And that's a big reason why we actually created Brand Expand to be omni-channel, because I'm very bullish on omni. So how can sellers grow their business in this competitive market? It's not 2012, there's a lot more competition nowadays. So we created Brand Expand for a couple different reasons. We want to optimize search relevancy so that more customers can find your product. We want to drive external traffic to reduce internal ad costs and mitigate the risk of just using PPC. PPC ad costs are not going to just magically start coming down. It's going to be more and more competitive, especially as bigger companies start to aggregate and have more money and drive down the cost of the product. They'll be able to allocate more money to PPC, which will drive up the cost of ads. So we want to mitigate that risk and drive traffic from outside of these channels to the channels. And then we want to gather feedback from customers, right? We all know how hard it is to get insights into what your customers think about your product because they're not technically your customer, right? we want to pull that veil back and say, this is what they think about your product. This is what you can improve on. And then you can go and apply that to your product listing and your product itself to help increase conversion rates, which will further accelerate growth. And then we want to promote listings and marketplace search optimization across multiple channels, not just Amazon. I was on Walmart. I had a Shopify store. I had an Amazon store when I exited. And now I'm on Etsy, just kind of dabbling with an Etsy store. I also sold on eBay, but health and wellness products don't do very well on eBay because it's just like a giant garage sale. But I have experience with all of the marketplaces, and our team has experience with these marketplaces as well. So brand spend helps online sellers drive sales, increase feedback, and diversify across marketplaces. An important point I want to make is a lot of our sellers are just on one channel right now, or they use the software for one channel, and that's perfectly fine. You're not going to pay more if you don't use different channels. And in fact, all of the plans that we have currently, there's a certain channel limit, but we're going to actually remove that in 24 so that every plan will have access to launch on any channel. So kind of to summarize, brand expand helps drive external traffic to Amazon, Walmart, Target, eBay, Etsy, Chewy, Shopify, any e-commerce channel. Doesn't like we've done a lot of different ones, and you'll see how we can do that in a second. The biggest ones are those that I mentioned, especially Amazon and Walmart. We help accelerate the growth of your product by boosting sales, increasing search relevancy, and driving brand awareness. We also have KPI tools that allow you to track the growth of your product, your keywords, make sure your keywords are improving because that's going to increase search relevancy, and all the tools that are necessary to drive conversion rates and improve your product ranking overall. So how does it work? So we leverage a vast customer network. We have over 50,000 unique shoppers. We had over a million monthly page visits. I think it was July. I haven't looked at November, but it's probably a lot higher given the season. And so the users, the sellers will pay for basically one sale. So every time we're able to drive one sale from our network, we charge one credit. And then we reward buyers with points for completing tasks related to your listing and providing feedback. So what you'll see in a second is the network actually goes to your listing. They say, this could be improved, this could be improved, this could be improved. And then they actually do a post-purchase survey as well to give you more feedback on the product itself. And all of this is going to help you improve the listing and the product. And then on select channels, we don't do this full transparency. We don't do this for Amazon because Amazon's pretty crazy, for lack of a better word, about reviews. But on any other channel, we actually send review requests to the buyer 2 weeks after purchase. Reviews are never required, incentivized, or influenced in any way. We want to ensure transparency and authenticity. We generally see a 20 to maybe 30 or 40% review rate when we send those requests to the buyer network. And so you can get reviews accelerated on channels outside Amazon just to really establish your product. I'm very bullish on Walmart. I get a lot of pushback for that because it's been a few years now. And it's like, when are they going to actually start catching up? But for a lot of reasons, I did a podcast with Norm Farrar about why I think Walmart's positioned to really catch up. Now, it's going to take a long time given Amazon's technology, but they have 62,000 super centers that they could convert into fulfillment centers. I think the latest stat was like by 2040, 95% of purchases will be done online. So they have to kind of make that transition. Otherwise, they're just going to become obsolete, really. So Walmart is an excellent place to just establish yourself in the event that that does happen, because it's very similar to what Amazon was in 2012, right? And how many sellers say, I wish I would have started on Amazon in 2012, right? So anyways, just kind of a side note, our software is great. If you just started getting on Walmart, or even if you're just on Walmart and want to boost up sales and get social proof, our software is going to be great for that. So this is kind of a visual of how it works. On the right, you see our software, and on the left is the buyer network. So they really work hand in hand to help accelerate each other. It's a B2B SaaS and a B2C deal aggregation site. Okay. And so the more products, the more sellers we have on Brand Expand, the more products we're able to show to buyers. The more products with the buyers brings in more buyers. It creates more value for sellers and kind of spins this flywheel. So the reason why we don't have a lot of competitors in this space is because we have to grow a B2B SaaS and a B2C network with two completely different demographics simultaneously. And if one doesn't grow at the same clip, it's going to hold the other back. It's a very complex business model, but we're cracking that, and it's proving to be very, very valuable for a lot of sellers. So what we do is we drive that traffic. In the near future, we're going to drive from search. So we're going to do what's called a search engine launch, which I'll show you in a second. That's going to pull in traffic from Google and maybe even Bing. We're going to have social launches where our buyer network basically boosts your product on different social networks. And then we also have a component of that will be what's called an influencer launch. And we're going to segment our buyers into different groups based on how many following they have across different social networks. And then you can launch and create buzz that way. And then our method right now is through that network that I mentioned, that 50,000 buyer network. And you push that traffic to your listing. So all of these things are going to accelerate growth, hence the name Brand Expand. All of this stuff is going to really push your product in front of more individuals. And on top of that, we do the market research that we talked about. We do product feedback. We do reviews for certain marketplaces. We do keyword tracking, and then we're building additional analytics. And so all of this is just going to help you really accelerate growth. Bringing more traffic and sales, increasing conversion rates are the two primary components to explosive growth. And that's really what we're focusing on. Okay, so just kind of an overview. We do product importing, product launches, omni-channel, customer feedback, keyword tracking, new customers and traffic, and we have multiple campaign types to choose from. And I'm going to show you a quick demo here. Just pull the veil back a little bit. This is going to be a short demo because we're limited on time, but I have a full comprehensive demo that you can get if you go to our site. I'll show you here in a second. You go to the site and you just put in your name, and then that will trigger an email. We'll send you the full comprehensive demo. It'll send you this short demo. It'll send you our case study, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. And then also just other resources that can help you get started. Okay, so I'm going to probably condense a little bit here. So again, this is going to be the short demo. This is what you're going to see when you come to the software. The dashboard is going to show you the products you have, the launches you have, etc. Your account up in the right. We have a unique thing where we actually have the ability to blacklist certain buyers if they return a product, or maybe they're giving you trouble on, chat support or anything. You can blacklist them. And then we also have the ability to do repeat purchasing and to mitigate repeat purchasing by specifying how frequently the buyer can purchase on a brand, on a product, and on a seller level. So we have done a lot. And for those of you who have done product launches, you know that the launch is only as good as the quality of the buyer network. We have done so much to mitigate any risk there and make sure that our buyers are always acting in the best interest of sellers, right? I'm a seller at heart. That's how I started. So I have a soft spot for all sellers. And so we've put a lot of things in place to make sure that they're not acting out, right? And we do audits on the orders. We go through every single order. We do order verification process. So we have a team of 5 individuals that literally go through the order to make sure what you're charged in your account matches what the buyer paid for the product. With the ACOS, there's an ACOS discount component there, looks at the image, and then we audit orders to make sure that they're actually being delivered and not, something shady happening. So anyways, that's just kind of a side note. I would think that our network is probably the cleanest buyer network that is out there. I'm not just saying that. I just say that because I know the competitors and how much time we've spent on this. And then the other thing I'll say is our refund cancellation rate is extremely low. And it wasn't always like that. It was very hard to get in front of that. But I think we're probably below 2%, maybe even below 1% at this point, because the buyers just know that we got stuff on lockdown. So anyways, that's a side note. This is where you import your product. So you have full omni-channel capabilities. whether it's Amazon, Walmart, Etsy, Target, eBay, we auto import these products. We do not connect to API. We're a standalone solution, and we always will be, just to make sure that we're not relying on any API to do this. So we have technology that will scrape the product listing from these different marketplaces. And so I'm gonna go back really quick. This is the product ID. On Amazon, it's ASIN, but on other marketplaces, you'll see that the ID is in the URL on that product listing, right? So I think on Walmart, it's like a listing ID. You pull that from the URL, you put it in here, you import from Walmart in that example, and then bring all the product details in. And then you confirm, you save the product, and then you can start a launch. So this is what the launch dashboard looks like. This is the timeline. You can fully customize this. And so this is really saying, when are we dishing out these promotions, right? We have two different campaign types. We have an organic and a promotional campaign type based on how you want to drive that traffic. You can do, like in this example, this is what we call a staircase launch, where you start with 1 promotion, 2, 3, 4, etc. This is great for newer products to slowly build up that sales velocity. And then we have this unique thing, which is called the evergreen on the back end, where we'll do up to 50% of your initial launch promotions on the back end without consuming credits. We'll talk about the credit component in a second, but just really quick, that's how sellers will pay for the software. They get on a plan. If it's the expander plan, for example, you have 100 monthly credits. And so you can drive 100 sales to your listing. Or if you're on another marketplace, you can drive 50 sales and 50 review requests for that $395 a month. And I'll talk more about plans here in a second. This is the evergreen component that I talked about. Really unique to our software. I forced our development team to build this. It was not easy, but I was like, being a seller, I knew how important it was to continue driving traffic after the launch, just to mitigate any rank drop, because it's inevitable once you pull that traffic away. I said, I really want to give our sellers a solution that will allow them to continue driving traffic and not charge them credits for that. And that evergreen's available on our middle plan, which is our brand expander, by far our most popular plan. This is the campaign results. So once you start your campaign, we have a launch approval team. This will actually be automated soon, thank God, because it is a pretty cumbersome process to make sure the launch is set up correctly. But if you're on a builder or higher plan, which is our second plan, you can launch same day, and it usually will go live, especially during normal business hours, 9 to 5 Eastern. It will go live typically within 30 minutes. So you can come onto the software, you can import a product, you can start a launch and submit it, and start getting sales from our network in less than an hour. This is where you're going to see all the campaign results. And so scheduled, if you remember that previous screen, we were building these campaign timeline. And so this is the scheduled promotions that we wanted to get sales on. And then we have our actual. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have what we call a 100% sell-through rate, where the scheduled equals the actuals. But if you have a more aggressive campaign type, or maybe you don't have a very competitive ad cost of sale for the campaign, you might see less sales. So I just want to be full transparency about that. We have sellers that come and do super aggressive campaigns, 1,000, 2,000 units with low ACOS, so not a very good offering, and they expect 100% sell through. It's not going to happen, right? So just make sure that you're managing those expectations. But you can always come in and pause your launch and adjust these components at any time, and then push it live again. So you don't have to start a new launch or have to recreate the wheel. This is the unique feedback component that I was talking about. This is at a very surface level right now, but with the new deal site that we're building right now, I'll talk about this in a second. This is going to be a lot more granular. It's going to be super awesome. We're going to be able to tell what keywords the buyers would use to find the product, which competitors the buyers would choose above yours, and then other things about your listing and eventually your product for a post-purchase survey that will give more transparency into how the customers actually see your listing and how much they like your product. And so that's going to be super beneficial for sellers to really again, improve their listing and improve conversion rates. And this is where you see all the orders come in real time. You'll see them from the shoppers, and then the launch number that's associated, the status. If it's in success, completed, or pending, that means the order was placed. But if it's in pending, it means that we're still auditing the order to make sure it was good. But all of these mean that the order has been placed. And this is the ability to blacklist right here. So if you see a buyer, and let's say you cross-reference this order with Amazon and it was canceled or something, or the buyer's like blowing you up on chat and, you know, being rude, you can blacklist them and then you're never going to see your products again. This is the keyword tracking. And this is for any channel. I think we're the only software that does Amazon, Walmart, Target, Etsy, and eBay for keyword tracking. Again, you don't have to use all of that, but you can. So you set up your product in there. It's pretty easy to set it up, to edit the product, and to add the keywords. It's pretty straightforward. And then we're going to pull that keyword ranking every day and show you where it's at. Here are the different plans. We talked about the expander. The expander, again, is our most popular. For the annual, you get 2 months free. The monthly, it would be $3.95. These prices are actually going to change in the new year because we haven't increased pricing for 2 years since we launched the software, and that's going to change because of just certain economic conditions. We have to increase pricing. But if you get on before the new year, you can take advantage of these lower prices. 100 credits on this plan. That means you can get up to 100 sales. Channels, 3 channels. Again, it's going to be unlimited for all these plans very soon, but you would have up to 3 channels. Launch, keyword tracking, expedited launches, the same day launches, and then evergreen capabilities. And then with the new software update, we have a new homepage that's coming for Brand Expand. It's going to be super cool. And I have it in our appendix if you want to see a little snapshot of what our homepage will look like. But you'll have more features there that you can choose from. And then on the enterprisers, we have dedicated account reps. This is where we bring you onto our Slack channel. We literally have our CS manager and myself, and all of our success team helping you make sure you're getting the most use out of the software. So that's the major benefit. We call it the concierge service on an enterpriser plan. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our presentation here because it's going to go super big. What I want to do is I want to talk about a comprehensive case study. I don't just want to talk about our software. I want to provide value, even if you choose not to use it. We did a comprehensive case study with 1,000 product launches. We've done over 5,000 product launches, 100,000 units in the past few years. We launched the software in 2021 in December, so really January 22. So what we did is we took 1,000 launches. We didn't cherry pick. We just took 1,000 launches within like 6 months or whatever it was, and we took a deep dive into them to see what made them successful. And then of those thousands, we segregated the top 5%, meaning in terms of BSR boost, like what were they doing? And this was super fascinating. That my team literally spent weeks. 3 of our analytics guys spent weeks putting this together. And so you can see at the top here, insane BSR increases. This is just like anything above 1,000% is just insane. But what we did is we segregated those and then found what they were doing. A lot of this you're going to already know, but I want to just put it front and center just so you can see we have data that backs this up. So kind of in priority, 95% of these products had Zoom with 6 or more images. These are high quality images on the product. That's just a no-brainer. You have to have that. 90% had 10 or more reviews. This is something most sellers know, but this cannot be understated. It's super important to have at least some form of social proof on your listing, ideally 10 or more reviews. I think the 10% that didn't meet this criteria had 10, but I think it was like 4.2 or 4.3 stars. So if you don't have reviews, what I always tell sellers is at least sign up for Vine, maybe get 1 or 2, and then use our software to accelerate growth. And what that will do is that will just increase sales velocity, and it will bring those Vine reviews in quicker, and it will just accelerate that process. And it's super important. I'll talk about honeymoon here in a second, but all of this needs to be done quickly. Like you can't drag your feet when it comes to getting reviews and doing launches, because there's a honeymoon period. Most sellers know about this, but I'll show you here in a second that it's very, very clear that the sooner you do this, the more explosive the launch is going to be. 85 had 150 characters in the title, 95 had 120 or more. So best practice, 120 to 150 characters in your title. Don't listen to people that say, oh, you don't need many, you only need 80 to 100. That's not true based on the results that we're seeing. And oddly enough, only 60% had A+ content. I always tell sellers it's not necessary to have A+ content when you do a launch, but you should be applying for the trademark and brand registry as soon as possible so that you can implement A+ content as soon as possible, because it will increase conversion rates. When I was a seller, my listings had a 5 to 10% boost in conversion just by putting high quality A+ content. So here is where we saw honeymoon or new products. So I think it was like 80% of these top 5% were in honeymoon and like 13% were in new products, but 93% of these were either honeymoon or new, meaning they had launched within 6 months. We do product launches and campaigns for older products, and it works relatively well. I think the average is about 100%, 90 to 100% increase in BSR across what we call mature products, but it's just going to work way better for products that are newer. And the way I explain it to sellers is Amazon needs to get you ranked high so it can collect all of this data, so it knows how to place you in the coming weeks and months. And so the only way to know where to place you is by getting that historical data. And so they have to put you really high. They have to gather that data, and then they can rank you accordingly. So those first couple of weeks are super, super important. Average units promoted was 132. And this is with our software. So you've probably seen, Helium 10's 8-day CPR, other software recommended units. You don't need to do as many as CPR. And this is a good time to mention, we also do keyword audits on our different plans. So if you're on the starter plan, I think we do 1 to 2 keyword audits a month. If you're on the builder, we do, I don't know, it's like 3 to 5, et cetera, et cetera. But when you come under software, you can request a keyword audit, and we cross-reference a couple different softwares and then determine what we call the BXR, the brand expand recommended promotions, and we'll send that to you. And it's usually about 60 to 80% of what 8-day CPR says, because our software is just very effective and you don't need to do that many. So anyways, average is 132. You don't have to do 1,000 units. Yes, doing more units is generally going to result in a more explosive launch, but you're going to have diminishing returns after around 500 units. Okay, if you have the budget to do 1,000, sure, you're going to rank very quickly. You're going to probably get to the top of the search results very quickly. But again, you're going to have diminishing returns after 500 promotions. And then average length was 13.5 days. So 8-day CPR, 8 days used to be the standard. Then it was 10, 12. Now it's about 2 weeks. You want to make sure, again, that you're solidifying data into the algorithm. It's important that you have, a long enough time where that data is, kind of baked in there, right? If you only do a week, it's probably going to drop pretty quickly because that data is not kind of, again, baked in the algorithm. So that's that. Here's the plans. I won't spend too much time on this, but if we look at the expander, $395 a month. If you do a year, you get 2 months free. I know I'm coming up on time here. And then this is a typo. This is supposed to be all channels. You get keyword tracking, blah, blah, blah. And then the master, you get the same. The important point here is you drive down the cost per credit, the the higher you go on your plans. And we have plans, we have enterprisers that have 2,000-3,000 units or credits a month. And we've driven costs down to $1.95 as low as $1.95, which is really, if you've done launches with other agencies, you're not going to see costs that low. We've just been able to create a very streamlined process to drive down costs for sellers. These costs are going to increase in 24. I'm not just saying that to push you, but I just want to be fully transparent that you're going to see these costs increase in 24. And these are the keyword audits, however many we do, 2 on starter, 2 builder, 3 to 5 on expander, 3 to 5 master, and then we do 6 to 10 keyword audits a month on enterprise plans. And then the enterprise plan, again, it's a full concierge service. We help set up launches. We bring you on the Slack. We help, provide listing improvements and all that good stuff. And really quick, because it started as a consulting agency, we really want to see our sellers succeed. So it's not just a software where you come on and then you don't have any transparency into our team. Like, we work with you to make sure that you're setting up the best possible launch, to make sure your listing is ready to go. We use that comprehensive case study to guide us and to make sure that your listing's ready to really get promoted. So, and we do that especially for enterprise clients. We really take care of them, and we take care of all of our clients. On these 2 plans here, it's called success level. And that's where we actually get on a call with you. We'll give you a higher level support. On the starter and builder, it's just going to be a support. We use intercom chat. Our chat team is amazing, but you can leverage the intercom chat, but you're just not going to get as much support there. Yeah, really quick, just what's in the pipeline here. Super exciting. The new deal site we're literally in the final stages of QA. I don't want to say a date because software is just always a moving target. So this is going to really be amazing. So we have the B2B SaaS, if you remember, and then we have B2C. The B2C is what we're working on a lot now. It's where we're spending a lot of our tech resources for this new site. It's going to be amazing. Like, we're working through QA, we're working through our UI UX. The backend is pretty much built out. It's phenomenal. And this is going to drive up the buyer network, and it's going to be we're going to focus more on marketplace compliance. And then we're also going to do these questionnaires that are going to provide maximum value to sellers. And so in early 23, you should start seeing a lot more KPIs and data come through on the brand expand end based on our buyers. New launch campaigns. So we have right now the organic and promotional launch. We're going to build a social launch, influencer launch, search engine launch. I touched on those earlier. You're going to be able to create campaigns and really pull traffic from all these different sources, not just from our network. We want to build analytical tools. So this is also in the pipeline. Keyword research, competitor research, ROI calculator, understand your costs better, understand how to do keyword research, competitor research, all that fun stuff. And then international expansion. This is definitely top of mind. A lot of people have asked for this. We will likely get into Canada first, then Mexico, and then UK. We want to make sure that we nail the US. That's really our primary focus. Once we deliver the best product launch MarTech solution for the US, we'll expand internationally. So for everybody listening, Post-Purchase Pro, what we'll do is we'll add up to $500 in your wallet when you come onto the software. And that's going to be 50% of your first month's charge. So for example, on Expander, you spend $395, we're going to put $198 back in your wallet, and you can use that towards promotions, to drive traffic, etc. So that's a great promotion there. You can sign up here. And again, I'll share these links. You'll be able to click on them. You can sign up there. And then these are all the resources that we covered. Success at brandexpand.io. Nicole is our success manager. She's incredible. She's also a former 7 to 8 figure Amazon seller, and she's just got a ton of knowledge. And so you can reach out to her there. And of course, mine is Seth at Brand Expand. And that's it. So thank you so much. I have more I'm not going to go over, but I can send you this. We have, just really quick, we have some reviews that are in kind of the appendix area. And then I do have top tips to crush competitions with product launches. This is a previous presentation that I've done at various conferences. And this is a really cool presentation as well, but I'm obviously out of time. If you reach out to me or you reach out to Sean and Seth, they can provide this to you. And yeah, hopefully it just helps you, boost up your product and get more sales and expand your brand. So thank you so much for having me, Sean, appreciate it. And hopefully it was valuable to your listeners.
Amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Dylan.
And yeah, But yeah, if you could send that link, I can put that in the chat for everybody. And it looks like there are a couple questions, but just since we're like into Neil's time, I just want to go ahead and could you answer those questions in the background in the chat?
Yeah, for sure. Let me see.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I can jump off and then just stay on and answer these chat questions.
Yeah, that I would appreciate that.
Cool. Yeah, and then I'll share a couple links too in the chat, and yeah, we'll let the next guy go. And again, reach out to me too. If I don't answer all your questions, reach out to me, reach out to our success team, go on our software. We have an intercom chat where you can chat with our team, and we'll answer any questions that you guys have.
Amazing. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right. Well, let's get into Neil. It's your time to go. So for those of you that don't know Neil, he is the host of the High Voltage Business Builders podcast, and he also is the head over at voltagedm.com. Definitely recommend checking them out. But just since we're so short on time, Neil, you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's just get into it. I appreciate your introduction. And so everybody who's here, we're going to get moving real quick because I got a lot of information to share. And as previously mentioned, anything that I share today will be in the notes as well as in the PDF you can download after this. I appreciate everybody jumping on today. I'm sure you've heard a lot of amazing information today and from some amazing people. But here's what I want to cover today for you. And it's one of the things that I know we deal with a lot, both with experienced and new sellers. And that is basically how do we 10x the business and how do we land more profits? How do we get growth to scalability? And then how do we potentially make all of that a big opportunity for us, even a life-changing or generational wealth opportunity by making an exit? So we're going to talk about those today. Also, I want you to focus on something that maybe has been talked about or not today. I haven't been privy to the other speakers, so forgive me if I repeat anything on accident that may have already been said to you. I'm going to try to share some new things too along the way. Why I want you to understand it's more important that you position your business and brand correctly than even what you put in the box. Meaning if you do this the right way, it doesn't matter. Literally, it doesn't matter what you put in the box. I have sold and helped people sell so many different kinds of products. I can tell you personally and firsthand experience. It's more important about how you position the brand and how you get this done correctly from the beginning with the end in mind so that it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And product is number two. What you put in the box to sell to the customers. That may be an inverse of what you've thought, heard, or the processes you're working now. So let's invert some of this thinking for a minute and kind of crash through some of these barriers together. So we're going to go over why I believe in many of the people that I know I've worked with as existing sellers could not break through certain barriers to get more profit and growth and scale out of their business. And we're going to cover the first few of those topics as we go through this conversation today. These are areas including what I call the 85% rule. It's basically borrowed from someone. I'll tell you in just a second. How we go by the numbers to build for real scale and then build for the exit. Why putting more into the in and focusing on the in is more important than anything you do during the middle part of the business building phase. Doesn't sound right to your brain, but stick with me. I'm going to explain it as we go through this. So I also want you to avoid the dumb tax, which is really building on your own. And what I tell people in our mentoring and mastermind is to, basically going out into the desert, drinking the sand, thinking that it's water. All right. So we want to make sure that we are listening to good information and taking actionable information. That's taking tacit information you're gaining from today, from this conversation, both audio and visual, and moving it into an implicit, a learning, a knowledge transfer. Very important. And that only comes from action. All right. So something to remind us as we get off this ground, Michael Gerber and the E-Myth, basically, if your business depends on you, you don't have a business, you have a job. And it's the worst job in the world because you're working for a lunatic. I don't know how many of you feel that way. Raise your hand. Maybe you feel like you're a lunatic. Hopefully you don't, but I always love that. So the goal here is we're going to go for something for 3 to 5 years, do something no one else is willing to do so we can live like no one else can after. The goal of building businesses for cash flow is great, but we also don't want to focus just on revenues and the amount of units we move. That is vanity metrics. We want profit. That's sanity. We also want to understand that why we can literally burn ourselves out in these businesses if we're trying to consume so much information without specific actions that should be taken in order with each other in order to grow profitability first, to get to growth and scale. And that why literally pulling back on some of your activities, getting up and walking away and going to 85% versus 100 might actually be the ultimate success in your business and life. This comes from following someone you may know or not know, I've never heard of, Carl Lewis, who is a 9-time Olympic gold medalist known for as the master finisher, but the slow starter, okay? He began races literally in second place, even farther back, and then he would end up finishing first. He wasn't performing at full throttle, and eventually they caught on to this. Literally, he was pushing himself at 85% on every race. Why? Because he had his best performance when he wasn't trying his hardest. What that meant was he understood if he left 15% in the tank towards the end, the other racers would have already burned themselves out, and that 15% would push him to the front, and he did and proved that. What was it? It was perseverance. Okay. He persevered when others would not, tenacity to do something others were not willing to do, and the grit and fortitude to go through it. So that's why businesses should also, and business owners here, should apply the 85% rule to what they're doing. Harnessing the power of perseverance, grit, and tenacity. You should recognize that success isn't the 100% maximum effort. It doesn't even have to equate to the amount of hours you work. If you're still in that trading time for mindset, I want to break that out of your mind today. What we need is consistent and strategic effort. What we need is focusing on intensity of activities and not the longevity necessarily of those activities, to avoid burnout and create a culture in your mind, in your operations, in your people, and in your business to get to long-term goals, not just short-term gains. It's literally a philosophy of pacing yourself to maintain a steady and sustainable growth without constantly pushing at maximum intensity. Maybe some of you feel like you push at maximum intensity. Maybe you're here today and this whole environment feels a little like maximum intensity. So the goal here is to keep pushing forward, try to learn from mistakes and adapt new solutions and situations. That's literally what I believe is happening during the entire masterclass today. So for us, what I want to do is help you break through some of those things by going through the breaks. The first one, all right, is the first big break. It is literally getting down to making more profit and knowing your numbers from the very beginning. No matter what software system or process you use next, it is most important that you have the profitability to sustain yourself in the market, to be able to acquire customers in the business. Most do not focus and understand this. If you don't get that, you're going to lose against people like me and my clients, because we are focused on buying the market share away from those who don't get it. You may think that's not fair, but that's a free market capitalistic environment. Amazon is that solution, and sometimes it has problems, and we all know we've ran into them, and they do dumb things that hurt our business. But if you can't actually acquire the customer and you are trying to throttle back or maximize and try to pull out every little inch from every little keyword or thing that you've got going on, you might actually find you have a profit problem, which is hindering your ability for growth and scale. It's super important that people really understand these numbers. Let's go over them in just a second, because you cannot run your business on gut feel. I cannot tell you how many times people are coming in flying by the seat of their pants with their business, unable to replicate the business itself, replicate successful products, trying to look for growth hacks or mechanisms or other things to try to shortcut their goals and earnings. Instead, they are literally capitulating the business growth, and they have no idea that they're really the one doing it. It isn't Amazon, it isn't business, even in the product availability in the market or where the Amazon ranking engine is taking. It is literally the person. I know that doesn't sound right, but if you change the mindset first, the business will follow. All right. So $1 million sellers and 8-figure, 9-figure sellers understand profitability first. And it could be the one thing that success and disaster make a difference in your business, whether you just run along or whether you are just striving to get along or whether or not you're thriving. Very important. First, know your numbers and profitability. You know you can market successfully when you have that opportunity. You can pay yourself and other people to support you correctly. You can negotiate from a strong position. And you, most importantly, can build a business with real and intrinsic value, okay, where it is worth more in the end. So what are the real numbers? Most sellers find products, and they find any way to try to make those products work. They hammer on them. They spend months upon months, sometimes years, trying to hammer those products into the market. And they're afraid they won't have another idea. They've lost their momentum. They put time and energy and effort into it. And they're deciding, well, when do I give up? When do I change? The idea is to start from the very beginning so that you don't end up in that position. All right. We launch products. Okay. And sometimes we run into products that don't have successful replication on scale. You will know how to do it by the numbers. So many of you have already sized up opportunities. Many of you have them in your pipeline. Many of you have product ideas you are considering. So why would you put these products on your list? You need a rough idea of appeal or acceptance from your audience. You can look at social media trends and other things to gauge that interest. Of course, get your factory quotes and things to determine that the numbers pencil in profitably. And you might have some of these products that are running right now, or you might need to elevate certain products that are running in order to do what I'm going to tell you in a minute, which means you might need to go back and find another source, another target, another way, another manufacturer, or another position to put that product either in the marketing side, the engine listing, and branding of the product, or in the profitability of the logistics, the manufacturer, and the product production itself. You may find there's a balance of elevating both of those And you can't be afraid of current products in the market you're selling, because all products in the market have different tiers. All right, 1, 2, 3 tiers. You might be in a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 product. We're going to talk about what those 3 tiers look like, because they have obviously different product opportunities and when you should launch certain products and when you shouldn't. When you pencil these in, you should actually have a financial analysis of each product. Okay, we're literally going to ignore other factors. We just want to get accurate and complete numbers as much as possible. And what we're doing is looking for bottom line profitability. When you do that, you should compile it together. You should use a spreadsheet like this or a software that helps you compile all of the numbers together. So you literally get down to in what we call our green light process, the ability to determine after all cost of goods, factors, market competition, sales, obviously no saturation, because I hear this constant mechanism of people talking about, well, we want high competition or low demand, high competition, and this other combination of phrasing. And the end result is that's a recipe for disaster. It focuses on too much revenue. It focuses on the vanity of moving units, and it doesn't focus on profitability first. The goal of this type of matrix is to get you to understand all the cost of the model and ensure that every product that is launching has a profitability to it. Minimum $12 in profit per unit for our products. We will not look at a product that does not make less than $12 in profit per unit. You should hear me when I say that. There is lots of opportunity, okay, for millions of products that fit that. If you are in the sub $30 range, if you're down in the $12, $10, $19 product range, even $29 product range, you are going to be sacrificing other things in the business, opportunities to get organic ranking and to use PPC strategies at their full opportunity. And I'll expand on that in just a minute. So make sure you know your numbers, make sure that you get down to at least $12 in net profit. As a bonus, I'm going to give you guys a copy of this template right now. I'll put it into the chat window, and what I want you to do is make sure that you just make a copy of it. All right, so you'll go to File and down to Edit. It is a Google Doc. Make a copy. You can get a free version of this spreadsheet right now as just a bonus as we walk through the next steps together, so you can track along with me, okay? I'm putting that in the chat channel. I think I put it in the host and panelist. I needed to stick it into everybody, so let's try it again. Now it's on to everybody. All right, so make sure you do file copy. Do not edit the original one. You can see right up here, do not edit, make a copy. Just go to File under the More Profitability, make a copy, keep it for yourself. It is a bonus. What you need to do is not get too attached to any product idea you put on that sheet. You can put your own products back in there, fill out all the numbers as best as you can, and guess what? If they turn yellow or red, that's a first indicator of a systemic problem with your product and brand that is going to be extremely difficult for you to sell no matter what growth hack, PPC, or other thing you try to do. Just be very clear. Try not to make try not to make the numbers work. Don't force them. Why? There are so many product opportunities. You do not have to force them. Literally, it's going to go 2 directions. The more you dig in, the better the data is going to better, and the more you dig deeper, the worse it's going to look. Stop working on products that don't meet those needs. Okay, this is an iterative process. This is the challenge. This is the mountain that sellers truly need to go through, okay, to ensure that you are building with profitability in mind, all right? If you can speed that up, and what if you could, we have a Greenlight product software that we use within our mastermind, where now we pull that in. There's an AI algorithm. We have about 10 million products in there. We have a software called Node Hunter that literally goes in and is constantly looking for data that meets our assumptions and data and brings them back in, files them into the Node Hunter, organizes them by our VIP products, and then presents them to us. So this is a product we use in our own business. And then we give it to our clients under an NDA. It is not publicly sold, and they are able to use this software to gain access to these exact products that are literally gold mines that could be picked out from in here. They're all green light from profitability, upside profit, and user, what we call unit ROI, which is the estimated velocity of sales that product will churn. So it's a matter of ensuring that you choose the right data set. It's something that I want you guys to understand here. It's not about choosing the right product. It's about choosing the right data. Okay, everything through this AI engine from the very beginning to the very end is about the data and algorithmic return of that engine. Some of them, people refer to it in the past as a honeymoon and these kinds of things. People refer to different, ways of designating names for what the engine is actually doing. But the engine behind the scene is literally trying to calculate a best fitting position for new products, existing products, and products that might have breakout opportunities in their data based on demand, profitability, time of year, and all kinds of other factors. But we have to understand that if we give the data to the engine at the right time in the right way with the right set, it will literally take over for us and do what we call, again, the holy grail, which is organic versus PPC driven sales. I'll explain some of that as we keep going. Most will think of a scarcity mentality regarding product ideas. They think there are not enough good ones. They can't dial them in. The barrier of opportunity is you have to go through that iterative process. Okay. Don't do this at 110%. Like I mentioned before, this is an 85%. Make it fun. Always be doing it. Always be looking for products that fit that criteria. So in quick summary, products for us that do not have more than $12 in net profit per unit are going to fall below our target metrics. We simply do not play in that market. Many of the businesses you saw, purchasing companies in the last 3 to 5 years, aggregators and others, were buying companies that are not profitable enough with operations that were not strong enough to overcome those objections. Many of them have failed. Some have capitulated, some have consolidated, some are going bankrupt. The reason is they were not focused on profitability of business. I consulted with some of them, and unfortunately, when I did that, they had brought businesses for millions of dollars that did not have more than like 9% net profit. You cannot run an Amazon business in less than 10% net profit. Let's be very clear about that. All right, so now you know better. So we focus on products that have more profitability. We ensure we go by the numbers. We dial in those numbers correctly, and then we test to launch a product. We never go to a full product launch without a test. We will always test the market. We are not smart enough to tell the market what it wants. That's arrogance and pride. We are smart enough to read the tea leaves and understand, did we get the data right? Is the engine helping us? Are we close? Are we over the target? Do we want to, make sure that we got the data aligned? And one of the ways we do that is the second big break, and here it comes. It is don't marry your products. Steal someone else's girlfriend instead, okay? And what I mean is don't get them from your neighbor's house, okay? Not that kind of stealing. This is super important because products exist to do a certain job. Products are part of a brand. Taking a company from 0 to 100K in products is really easy. Taking a company from 100 to a million requires a brand. From million to 8 or 9 figures requires brand affinity and intrinsic affinity and value of brand beyond Amazon. Okay, just so we're clear. Products have a life cycle. They don't last forever, so stop trying to think that I'm going to build a product that is going to be lasting for the next 10 years. If your product can last for the next 24 months, you're doing something really right. If beyond 24 months, you have continued to gain organic and growth market share, it will last for at least another 24 months, okay? So we need to think of products as a never-ending life cycle, not a beginning and an infinite end. People think about that too much, and so they get too married to their products. You can easily spend a fortune launching a new product and come away with terrible results, okay? I've seen this happen over and over and over again. I've even seen it happen with people who have existing product brands and try to launch a new one and just wonder, why did that thing crap out? Why didn't it work? Why couldn't I get my second product in my brand to take off? I thought I figured it out. The tendency to hang on to aging products rather than launch a new one is something that I constantly talk to people about. Those who have existing brands and product in the market, they hang on to them for too long when they should have ditched them for new product opportunities long ago. They marry those products. People tend to try to wring out every last penny before moving on. And that is a business mistake that many of you are making, okay? So stop marrying the product. Stop making the bad decision to fall in love with your product. Fall in love with the business. Don't fall in love with the product. Come back to this point with me, and that is we are selling listings as advertisers and marketing engines and brand engine marketers. The products are being delivered by Amazon to the customer last mile. They're actually delivering the products. That's the mechanism we're using right now to incubate these products and brands and see them become successful. Then we can move them into other channels once we see the brand affinity grow past a certain point. So the reason this works is because we are going to innovate products we're not going to invent, which means we are also not going to sell me too everyday standard products. So we are typically going to find products $50 to $150 in retail price point that are not falling into all the criteria that I just brought you through, including the net profit. We need to remember it is data first, product second, okay? Think about this. When you are buying a product, do you have that product in your hand? Are you tangibly holding it, looking at it, and deciding which of these two products do I want to buy? No, you are buying on belief, solution, and outcome of the product. You do it too. And then you become brand driven, knowing that, well, if I got the Samsung, I'll buy another Samsung. If I buy the iPhone, I'm buying another iPhone. If I buy the Toyota, I'll buy another Toyota, or buy a Lexus because it's a nicer Toyota. You will stay with brand value. That's where simple ideas become great ones, and similarity and familiarity equal trust in this system. And you need to leverage that, not fight it. I see so many existing sellers fighting with the system, not recognizing that they are doing that exactly. They're just fighting against the system and making it more difficult. They're in their own way, which is something I mentioned earlier. So differentiation will add brand value in time, and improvements create added value. So as we sell products and we improve and we innovate, we are going to move ourselves away and elevate our product above certain price points. How can that work? Well, you make something unique, almost. You make something somewhat better, and you get a little creative, and you unleash a brand. When you do this right, you can unlock major growth in a short amount of term. Most of my case studies are multi-7 and 8-figure case studies in 4 years or less. Why is that possible? Because we are working on fundamentals of business: time, energy, attention, and money. Not just the team effort, but the understanding of those 4 factors as they relate to the business from the very beginning through the growth stages and into scalability. You're welcome to go scan this, watch this podcast. This is one of our builders who built an 8-figure business in less than 4 years. He literally says, I spent the GDP of a small country with my family of 5 at Disney and didn't do any work the entire day. He didn't do any work the entire day. So almost automated profits are one of the things we work on. So why does it work so well? Something that we grasped in 2015 that most sellers haven't come to terms with. I have been selling on this platform since 2011. So here's the thing. We sell listings, not products. I think I said it twice before. Here's a third time. We sell listings, not products. You're selling products, and that might be one of the differentiations about where this is going. We are Amazon marketers, not private label product sellers. Right? Some of you need to hear that. I don't know who needs to hear that. Maybe raise your hand and say, I. But we are marketers on the Amazon system, and then we're private label sellers. So we're not, we got this all reversed. I see this happening constantly. Why is this important for you to understand? Because in 2015, we discovered that Amazon PPC had a ranking capability. Actually, we discovered it a little sooner than that and put it into full effect in 2015. And I have $1 million a month case study on my website to prove exactly how that went through. You're welcome to go check that out. His name's Matt Harward. That case study went on to prove a $5 million a month in 9 months, roughly, of growth in the scale of what we're talking about. Amazon is a marketing engine and has been pushing themselves towards marketing and branding engine for the last 7 years. Most people haven't caught on or figured that out. It is not about the product mechanism or movement. While they show a profit gain overall, Amazons.com is not profitable. The AWS platform, their web services platform, is actually the profit driver using the data from product sales, as well as Twitch, Prime, and all the videos and shares. Now that's about to change, and this is your opportunity if you're paying attention. Listen, Amazon is going to literally become a booming ad platform, a network of traffic greater than YouTube, and will be skyrocketing their business across Prime, Twitch, Amazon Music, Audible, and other places. So that at this point, projections are that by 2026, Amazon marketing online revenue will surpass AWS for profitability. You need to understand how powerful that is and how you need to take advantage of it. They are literally moving ads platforms in, and they're coming for your ads dollars, which means it's going to get more expensive to do what I'm telling you today in the future if you do not put these mechanisms in place. Now, one of the opportunities they're creating for us, like they do on this platform, they create opportunities for us as marketers and sellers, is launching sponsored TV ads. This is coming. It's beta for some platforms. It's going to be rolled out soon. This is going to add on the ability for anybody watching Twitch, Freevee, or any of the Fire TV free platforms. You've seen the Amazon ads. If you ever wondered how you're going to get on there, you can now put your brand on sponsored TV. This will be coming out here really soon. It's going to be extremely powerful reach and bring you off the Amazon channel and into the videos, platforms, and services they offer. With some of these television spots, you're literally going to be able to pay for. You're going to be getting in front of millions of people watching these shows and on probably major networks as they roll this out and beyond. They're going to continue to take what is kind of traditional TV advertising and give us the opportunity to take advantage of that. And that helps us come to the third big break, okay? And that is, if we do all of this right, we will unlock organic buyer traffic. Many of you are pushing PPC campaigns for your profit instead of using it as a marketing tool for organic ranking. I have a case study inside of my group where we proved that we turned off about $40,000 a month in PPC ad spend, and the business actually continued to grow organically while adding back on the 30-something% ACoS we were spending across that ad platform to make that campaign work, and shut it all off just to prove something to our people. Well, it turned out that brand kept growing even without PPC. So it also taught us something we were willing to do that others probably aren't willing to do. And I went on Norm Farrar's podcast and talked about this about 6 months ago. and explained how this worked. And it's something you need to understand about the uniqueness of Amazon's platform that most people, again, are fighting against. Amazon is a river, but it's also a tree, all right? To gain organic traffic in the system, you cannot manipulate it. I know a lot of people have tried that in the past through ranking engine, algorithmic things, launch strategies. Launch strategies I helped deploy in 2013 into the search and buy strategies that eventually they shut down to literally understand how that algorithmic engine works. It is a learning and latent semantic model, and it is about to change dramatically, and let me explain how. When I was building latent semantic search engines at IBM, I was the RMUNC lab, research and development lab. We were working on Watson computers and technologies. And part of the algorithmic learning and latent semantic engine they developed is one the engineers from Amazon took and built into what was known as the A9 engine. I think they call it the A10 engine. I don't keep up, but really it's still the A9, and the A10 is just compliance bots. At the end of the day, the fundamental ranking and organic system is still working. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So Amazon hasn't really broke that part of it. But they have changed fundamentals about how you can manipulate or change results or get value out of the organic engine. And that has changed dramatically, forcing us to be more traditional in our marketing and the presentation of our products. But it literally is a river. We call this floating the Amazon, because it literally, like a box on the river. And by the way, the DALL-E, which is such a cool AI tool, won't spell the words right. Well, that's just fine. But it's first about where the products end up. So I find a product that is competitive. I find a product that has all the profitability and green lights. I find a classification called the node inside. You may have heard branch leaves and nodes. We've been talking about this for the last 8 years. Inside this organic browse tree system that is Amazon's filing engine, if you are not classified correctly, you will never rank for the type of bestseller or type of top 50 positions within the nodes, not the categories like home and kitchen, but the nodes within them. And like cell phone accessories, etc. You are still at the department and category, even subcategory level. Where you should be at is more of the niches and nodes. That's the branches and leaves. It literally looks like a tree. We play way out here into the nodes. Everybody's still sort of in the niches and subcategories, and I'll tell you why that's an opportunity if you're paying attention. Okay, this browse node at least has one node attached to it. We used to be able to attach 2 to 3, but Amazon changed that because, well, they caught on to it. Every time we do something new and innovate, they change. But now you can actually put in a ticket to have yourself put, and they may not approve it, they might, into multiple nodes. So if you have multiple node classifications and your product isn't riding directly in a specific node, like you're not selling, baby mirrors in the baby mirror node, then you can actually go in and have them request to put in a browse tree node for a leaf or an additional node. They may approve it, they may not approve it. It's worth a shot, okay? The particular node that has a path to it is what's called an item type keyword, and that is what we call the super keyword. If you've never heard about that, the synonymous node keyword is the item type keyword, and typically is the most important keyword and most relevant keyword that the A9 engine, which is based on relevancy, is actually using to rank the products. It's not obvious in all the nodes, but it is obvious in some. It's extremely important to understand what your ITK is because it has to do with the relevance of your product to the engine and the search criteria. It has to do with making sure that your product in line with customer coming straight through 30 seconds or less add to cart to your product versus someone else's is bringing a maximum straight line between their intent, your product, and the relevancy of your listing shown at the right time and just in time to the right person based on all of Amazon's cool data, and making it hyper relevant, giving you an opportunity to dominate. Okay, if you are out of line, think about this. It is like a lock on a door. If you go to unlock a door and your key fits in, all the tumblers turn correctly. If you're going to pick the lock and you're going to go do it, you've got to manually move those levers into place to get them to work correctly. If any of the levers are out of sync, the whole thing will not unlock. And some of you have not unlocked all of the levers to allow your opportunity for domination, and you don't even know what to unlock, so you're simply missing it on opportunity. You may be out doing promos and off things and building your, off Amazon things and social media and trying to do all this stuff to manipulate the engine when it's never going to respond to you. It will never let you unlock it. So hyper relevancy is important. Product relevancy, marketing relevancy through your ads, brand ads, top of search ads, even TV ads coming soon, is going to allow you to create hyper-relevant ITK so your products appear on page 1, and you can most importantly replicate those product sales opportunities over and over and over again, just like Apple puts a new iPhone, a new product in a different package and calls it the next release, and we all suck it down. We buy the next iPhone, the next iPad, the next iMac. Okay, most of you have 3 to 5 of their devices. All right, and some of you just got angry with me because you're thinking I'm an iPhone fanboy and you love Android. I could start a whole war about that conversation. But the end result is if you're not relevant and playing in that brand, you will not dominate. You need to understand that if you do that, there are hundreds of millions of page one opportunities to replicate product by product by product into by simply taking product one, replicating it again, and doing it again. There are 7,800 units moving every minute. Guys, this is where growth meets scale. You're simply not unlocking the opportunity to reach those. When you do, you can double profits and sales. This is a case study that'll be on my site. You can go check it out if you want to. We doubled the sales in literally 30 days by aligning his tumblers correctly and simply getting access to organic traffic that he was missing. For every opportunity to optimize, you should understand just a simple 0.5 to 1% change in your unit session percentage, the conversion rate metrics, Amazon's language, of mobile to or desktop, predominantly mobile. Hear me when I say this, predominantly mobile. You can literally overtake sellers next to you. But here's the thing. There's one other component that has to occur. Okay, listen when I say this. If you do not have more inventory than me, and let's say we're competing in the marketplace and you do gain a 1% share in the market USP against my product, and you convert 1% higher than I do. If I have 5,000 units and you have 1,000 units, the engine is not going to allow you to overtake my position. It will simply not, because your tumbler is not unlocked. If you had 6,000 units and I had 5,000 units and you gained 1% unit session percentage over me, guess what's going to happen? The engine is now going to reward you and allow you to sell those additional units. You got to understand what I'm saying, folks. 1 year selling on Amazon, someone had literally spent a year and they made $16,061. Anybody have those kinds of feelings on here? Maybe that's you. You pushed for a year and you made 16 grand. We had a seller that did that. Here's what happened in 30 days. We got him to 7,800 in 30 days, 15,000 in 45, and 56,000 in 60 days by simply unlocking the tumblers that were already existing in his business. We unlocked the mechanisms that allowed his business to gain organic growth. And now it's on its way to doing 100,000 a month in less than a year. It's $1 million brand 1 year after we started working with him. So here's the thing, increasing your USP and your inventory will allow you to overtake market share and your competition. A cost isn't the only metric to manage by. It is TA cost, tacos, as we refer to it. Then CLTV very closely, customer lifetime value. Keep the tacos range within 7 to 15%, and you will see domination change within the next 60 to 120 days. You're going to need to keep that in algorithmic position, especially for those of you who are in higher barriers of entry and competition, in order to see the kind of growth. When you dial that CLTV in, you should be positioned for 12 to 24 months of potentially multi-seven figures if you do this right. What I'm showing you on this graph is a test launch that met a perfect vertical growth for a couple hundred units of a test. All the data was correct. Now we've projected the CLTV of that brand. And so now that person can go in and spend confidently to grow that brand beyond 200 to 2,000 units and more. When all of that data angles correctly, that's when you can actually put fire and gas on the engine. But if you don't see this in your launch process over a 3-month period, then your data is simply not right yet. It's simply not right. And there is the answer to the equation. It has nothing actually to do with the product at that point, unless you're getting negative reviews. And then it's about the product. So again, number 2, we don't sell crappy product, Me Too products. We actually create good products and we innovate. But it is the second thing to solve, not the first thing. Change this around. Do this correctly, then you will get ready for off Amazon marketing. Not until you have a full test launch validated. That thing I just showed you, that was a test launch, totally validated. Now what do? We let the engine do what it's supposed to do. We have everything dialed in, so there's really no tinkering and tweaking yet on that. We're going to let it run another 90 days. We're going to give it way more inventory above the inventory levels of the competition in our node. And then we're going to engage social media, UGC content strategies for off Amazon and sponsored brand ads that are going to be validated with that and social media activities, because now we've validated that is a worthwhile use of our time, energy, and attention. But we won't do any of that until we prove and validate. So the final topic, guys, and I know I'm coming at you fast because we were only given so much time and I have so much more to tell you, but I am talking extremely fast. I realize that. But all of this will be in the PDF and you can download it later. And there's plenty of other things that we have to give you. And that is the platinum principle. This is what all of that, and I hope all of what your intention is for business and getting into business. And that is understanding what we call the platinum principle. And that is similar to a golden parachute in the corporate world. Some of you may be in the corporate world. That's the idea of getting up to a certain elevated point where when they give you your retirement or your walkout, they don't just give you a watch, they give you a golden parachute, right? Doesn't happen as much today. So we're going to create our own golden parachute, and we're going to call it Platinum Principle. Stack value into the business. Build a juggernaut of profitability and growth so that people will line up to buy your products. Yes, there is still a huge opportunity to buy businesses. Voltage is buying 4 businesses in the coming year, ranging from 5 to 20 million in size, just to give you some scope. There are plenty of businesses to be purchased. I know the aggregators are failing in some ways, and they are because operationally they don't even understand some of the fundamentals I just told you today, or they would still be in business. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. There is a lot of opportunity to build these businesses, expand into multiple channels beyond Amazon to Shopify, Walmart, other marketplaces, and then build profitability through brand growth and scalability, even down to retail, other locations, and even maybe getting it into stores. And these businesses become extremely profitable. You go from maybe a 2.5, 2.7 on your exit to 3.2 to 3.9, multi-channel with subscription opportunities beyond Amazon, like on Shopify, taking your products and expanding them into, say, Shopify with subscriptions, and you can get to 6 to 8x on your multiples of exit, which is huge, on your SDE or EBITDA, as it's referred to, and giving you the opportunity to create generational wealth. And that is one of the things we are focused on, creating generational wealth, not side hustles and hobby businesses and just playing along. It might start that way, but that is never the intent. The intent is to grow for scale and grow for exit. So some of the things that people don't always understand about their exposure at the beginning of these businesses, maybe they haven't been taught the funnels, maybe people, the fundamentals, maybe they're not being taught the business rules that apply beyond Amazon to the business they're running. But I want you to understand, if you are not being careful, if you could be personally exposed, if you are not paying attention to taxes, if you are commingling accounts and brands, if you're not set up properly from the very beginning, and you're treating this business like a hobby or a side hustle without proper time and attention to the business rules, you will become a victim of the market. You will become a victim of competition. You will become a victim of Chinese, Korean hackers, and all the other people who, not just by ethics but by standards, are out there trying to wreck the marketplace for other sellers, and you will be put into a position where your business is being jeopardized. Think forward with the end in mind. Consider your succession. Consider if it's an inheritance. Consider if you're going to ever transfer or create continuity of operations so that you might turn this into mailbox money, almost automated profits, income that literally doesn't take you to work in the business anymore. You can actually have operators that help you run the business when you grow it up. Okay, continuity can be important. Most people don't put bookkeeping in place from the very beginning. They don't understand the right way to structure financial or taxation, as well as LLCs and other formations of S corps, etc. And so they are liable, they're exposed, and they can be victimized in the market very easily by having people come in and literally re-engineer your pipeline back to your manufacturer, okay, and even shut you down at the manufacturing level. That would suck. They don't realize taxes and the way they could be handled. They could be reduced ethically as well as within the legal limits of the law because they simply don't know. And they are not truly understanding profitability and upside potential of the business because they're still treating it like a short-term cash side hustle. Most people need to understand operations. Multiple streams or individual products or individual brands built into the business model can create multiple streams of incomes, even multiple seller accounts. Adding additional sales channels, create those additional sales values. And of course, with that comes customer lists and data. Of course, through the post-purchase pro people, we work with them too, that you can get data off Amazon. But of course, you get 100% from the other channels, which is increasing the value of the business. And it's important to understand that. So really, the Platinum Principle wraps up the topics I wanted you to understand today, because the exit strategy is your business strategy. It should be. When people ask me, Neil, do I sell my business? Should I sell my business? If I get involved with you, will you require me to sell my business? The answer is no. The opportunity is to sell your business with the exit, okay? When you sell the business with the exit in mind, then you get to exit on your terms, and you don't get caught unaware of the consequences of the business setup. So plan the exit from the beginning. It might seem like a lot of work, really, but it's not when you do it correctly. And it presents upside potential and opportunities. Even Amazon treats you differently as a brand, a business, when you put your total presentation forward, including trademarks and brand registration, etc. Amazon will treat you differently on growth, even giving us brand ambassadors and other things, as well as brand recognition. within the marketplaces and help us even expand farther. Now, again, I know that seems like a lot, and this is the end for the moment because I'm thinking I'm really getting close to the end of my time, and I'm about to get the pull off the stage, right? Because I've been going fast and furious, right, Dylan? So I have 2 minutes. If I have 2 minutes,
Go ahead.
all right, 2 minutes. Okay, so 2 minutes. I'm going to give you something for free. I have a full training that goes through these 4 steps. There's an hour-long training for each of those individual topics with the template and other free things I'm going to give to you for free when you scan this right now. If you've got your mobile device, pick it up, get it. You can grab it off the PDF. It is literally a free training to go into the detail of finding the products, going by the numbers correctly, understanding how to rank and get the keywords set up, how to properly position products, not only in your mind, but in the market mind to move that forward. That will be free training at the link here that you can literally scan. And then the link at voltagedm.com, you can check that out. If you haven't seen the podcast, go check that out too. Every week, good guests talking about what's going on. I didn't even talk about myself or whatever on here. So you guys go check all that out. Then you can figure out what I'm about and where I'm going, because I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time talking about myself. But the offer here is that if you want to, you can connect with me personally. I don't take a lot of people into our mentorship. It's usually an application only, maybe 5 to 7 people a month. You have to qualify to get involved. We have to go through an assessment process. I don't have a marketing team. That's not how it works. We are an elite business builder group that's only about 250 people, about that much in the last 5 years. So this is not something that I share with everybody, and everything I told you today will be more detailed in below. So if that's something you would be very interested in and you want to talk, book a call with me, go check out the information below, scan the QR code to go do some research. Go to voltagedm.com or just search me on the internet. I have a last name. It's TWA. You can't miss me. Yes, it is my last name. And obviously, no, I'm not a small Asian guy. So you are more than welcome. Go check out my social media, hang out, find out what's going on, book a call, see if it's a good fit. Check out the case studies that talk about turnarounds that we've done with multiple companies, brands that are doing 30 million a year in DTC. We brought them on Amazon and turned their business around because they were doing terrible on the Amazon channel. And if all of this is of value, check out the YouTube channel, see what David LeBlanc did to follow this process and go from 0 profit to 20% profit in 5 months. And you guys go have some fun checking all that out. I'm going to stop sharing all that now. And I thank you so much for having me on, Seth and Sean. And this has been fun. Thank you for allowing me to speak at 900 miles an hour and get all this information out here as fast as possible to y'all.
Thanks, Neil. That was awesome. I mean, you had to talk fast with all the content that you had to pack in there.
I didn't get it all. I slipped a bunch of slides. Sorry, guys. There's a whole bunch of stuff for you to go check out in the PDF on the drive later on.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure everybody else does too.
Awesome.
Awesome. So let's get into the next presenter. Last but not least, we have Radoslav and Hristo from Hyperzon. If you don't know who Hyperzon is, they manage a staggering $132 million in annual revenue for their clients. That's not just impressive, it's the kind of accomplishments that turn heads in the e-commerce world. So let's just get into it. Everybody give a virtual round of applause. And yeah, let's get into it, guys.
Hey, Dylan, nice to hear you, man.
Nice to see you again.
Today?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm getting used to that. So, I guess you'll be seeing more of me. This time I'm here with my partner, Rado, who is gonna be in the spotlight for the most part because he is an amazing Amazon guru who's been in the trenches for, I'd say, more than 12 years now. And he can definitely share some golden nuggets with you with our presentation. For those who don't know us, we are Hyperzon, as Dylan said, and we are a full-scale Amazon marketing agency that is focusing on helping D2C brands scale on Amazon. No matter if you already have an account or not, we're going to help you match your website sales, but this time on Amazon. Of course, we can help many sellers as well with their hard times on Amazon because they're not giving you any easy ones for sure. So Rado, you can go ahead and share our presentation. It's going to be a Google Slides. And I hope you enjoy it because it's packed with some valuable information.
Amazing. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, nice to meet you all. Even though I've been in the Amazon space for quite some time now, I'm not sure if I'm an amazing speaker, so I would really appreciate if Hristo backs me up from
Absolutely,
time to time.
man. You got it, but trust me, you're better than you expect.
All right, let me try to share my desktop. And for some reason, I can't. All right, Christo, can you share it, please?
Yeah, that's weird, of course. There you go. Can you guys see the presentation?
Yep, I can see that.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, I think I shared it.
All right.
Can you guys see it?
I'm sharing it right now. I think I'm sharing it right now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I see that I am sharing it. Dylan, can you confirm?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I can see that as well. I stopped sharing mine. All right, let's go.
All right, perfect. So today's slides and presentation will be about things that Amazon recently rolled out. And it's about some quick steps and like tricks that you can implement in your advertising strategies, or little tips and tricks that will help you better understand where you stand in Amazon's eyes, like what are your customers, how many of them are purchasing your product, how many of them are considering, and stuff like that. So moving on, this is, I don't know if you guys know this, but Amazon recently introduced a new dashboard. It's called the Amazon Customer Loyalty Dashboard. And basically what they give you here is they give you an overview of your customers segmented in different categories. Because as you know, your customers in Amazon are actually not your customers, and you don't know anything about them. You don't know how often they purchase. You don't know what's their lifetime value. There's a lot of things that you don't know about them. Like if they are on your website, you can have some stats, but on Amazon, you don't, or I should say you didn't until recently. So this new dashboard actually divides your customers into 4 tiers. It's the top tier, it's the promising, it's the at-risk customers, and it's the hibernating customers. So what does that mean? Like the top tier customers are the customers that drive your brand. Those are the people that purchase your products. Those are your highest spenders, and those are the people with the biggest lifetime value. After that, we have the promising customers. Those are customers that actually purchase from you recently. They like your products, they buy them from time to time, and they spend a little bit above what is considered the average for your brand. So if you give them a little push, they might be a very good fit to become top tier customers or your top spenders. After that, we have the at-risk customers. Those are customers that have purchased from your brand, but they haven't purchased recently. There may be a lot of reasons for that. Like at the end of the day, Amazon is a price comparison website. For a lot of people, there's not a lot of brand loyalty there. So maybe you need to give them a little bit of push. Maybe you need to show them some ads. You need to remind them who you are. Maybe run some promotions. Like just push them a little bit to become, again, promising customers. And after that, you have actually the hibernating customers. Those are customers that haven't bought from you in a long time, like a really, really long time. It's good to keep this segment down, like, because if this is the majority of your segment, this means that you don't have recurring sales from those customers. And this means that your brand is mostly a one-time purchase. And you're fighting so hard on Amazon to get people to buy your product. You don't want the people that buy your product, the majority of your customers, to be hibernating customers. So what I have here in the presentation is actually an example of a brand that we manage on Amazon. It's a cosmetics brand, and by being a cosmetic brand, those are products that are purchased over and over again. So for the last few months, we have almost 80,000 customers, total customers. The top tier customers that are our driving force, they're 11,000. We have almost 50% promising customers, which is amazing. This means that even though those customers are not our top spenders, they do spend a lot of money on our brand. And after that, we have the at-risk customers and hibernating customers at adequate levels. So moving forward, what can we do with this new dashboard? And why is it so important for brands that have products that can be purchased over and over again? It's very important because we can identify trends. On Amazon, what I said earlier, you have no idea what the customers are. You don't know their behavior. You have no idea what's happening with them. So what Amazon introduced, even though it's very early and hasn't been there in the wild for a long time, it's still quite powerful and gives us an overview of the behavior of our buyers. So they give us this chart. It looks very basic, but it's very powerful because we have two axes. And on those two axes, we can compare different metrics. Like we can compare our repeat customers versus total sales. And for example, what does this mean? Like, what does this gives us? This tells us that when the more people buy our products, and it seems that our products are, I don't know, likable. They like what they're getting and they're returning for more. And you can see that the repeat customers over time, they're increasing. And why is a repeating customer so important to your brand on Amazon? It is because you're fighting so hard to get the initial sale. For example, you may have, I don't know, 100% ACOS on advertising. Maybe you have a very high tacos because you're competing in a very hard niche, maybe some supplements or something like that. If those customers that purchase your product start repurchasing it, basically those are free sales for you. You don't have any ad spent on it. You don't have anything. You just need to keep them as a loyal customer and make them repurchase your product. So what we see in the graph here is that the more repeat customers we have, the more total sales we have. Makes sense. So what else can we compare? We can compare, for example, in the first axis, the new customers versus repeat customers in the second one. Maybe we can have the total customers versus the repeat customers, because we want to see how many of those customers over a period of time are becoming repeat customers. Like, how is this metric changing? We can have repeat sales and a lot of other how's it called, metrics. Yeah. So I definitely advise you to check this for your brand and see where you're standing. Something else that we have in this pretty new dashboard. So what we saw in the previous slides, this was an overview of the customer loyalty on a brand level. But what Amazon gives you is the option to explore those metrics at a segment level. And what does this mean? This means that we can have those same metrics, but only for a segment. For example, we can see how does the total spend of our top tier customers changes over time. We can see how many sales we have from a different segment. If I'm just going to give you some brief examples, but you can use it for if you're a cosmetic brand and you're introducing new products and you're pushing it to your loyal customers, you would want your current customers to purchase those new products. And you can validate this by going into this deeper dive, selecting the top tier customers and showing the sales. You can see if the average order value of those customers is going up. This means that they're buying more and more of your products. You can also, if you see a drop in your revenue, maybe there's a new competitor, maybe some of your customers from top tier or promising are moving down the pipeline. So maybe they're going into the at-risk customers. And what you can do is you can see week by week, how is this segment increasing? If it's increasing, then you have a problem and you need to do something. Something else, again, that Amazon introduced is the predictive customer lifetime value. So what they actually do is they tell you this segment. Currently, we're looking at the promising customers, but they try to help you see how much money they will spend next year versus how much they spend this year. So, for example, the promising customers, we see here that last year they spent 38 USD. Next year, they might spend 37, which is all right because those are promising customers. But if your top tier customers start spending less, this means that you have a problem. And maybe you need to push them a little bit, create some promotion or some coupons, hey, this is us, this is our brand, remember us, we have some new products. Just be creative. Moving on with the golden nuggets. I'm not sure how many of you use DSP, and I promise this is related to all the other stuff that we said about the repeat customers and stuff like that. So DSP is very powerful, and you have quite a lot of options to create audiences inside. So what you can actually do if, for example, you're a new brand on Amazon and you have access to DSP, but you want to have like a kickstart. If you're a D2C brand, you can actually export your current customers from your website, and you can upload the hashed audience data inside Amazon DSP. That way you create an audience that is based on your customers. It's like for the people that are not so tech savvy, this is like a Facebook pixel or a Google pixel that you've trained on your website purchases. And that way you can start advertising to customers that are very, very related on Amazon to the ones that already purchased on your website. But what you need to know here, and this is like with a huge exclamation mark, like the hugest one you can imagine. You want to drive customers away from Amazon and to your website. Your goal is that those customers that Amazon gives you exposure to, they'll become your brands. You're going to develop a brand loyalty. Like they're going to continue purchasing from your brand. So the idea here is not to drive your website customers back to Amazon. The idea is to drive customers from Amazon back to your website. So when you use your website data, it's very important that you use lookalike audiences, and after that, exclude those customers that have purchased from your website, because you don't want to do it the other way around. This is what we just talked about. By doing lookalike audiences, you can have a very precise targeting on the customers, and you can have a very good return on your ad spend, depending on how you structure and what creatives you use on your campaigns. Something very interesting, again, connected partially to DSP and maybe a little bit to the previous topic is the videos that Amazon is pushing really hard into the advertising. A few months ago, it was like they started beta testing it in sponsored brands, and there it was called streaming TV. In order to get into streaming TV, you had to commit a budget. Amazon had to make, in most cases, a video from Amazon Studios, most times for free, but you committed with this budget to test the platform. So this is one of our tests. As you can see, this is top of funnel because we're targeting the whole categories. And our return on ad spend is 0.62. Nobody in the marketing niche would say that 0.62 is a good return. But the Amazon representatives that push you to try this said that this is an amazing result because most of the people that run video ads have much lower results and much lower return on ad spend. Like how less than 0.4, 0.6 can you go? I mean, you're running at a loss here. And this is keep in mind that this is top of funnel. And when you run video ads, those ads are not clickable. For example, imagine it's a late Friday night, you're watching some movies or TV shows and hey, here's an ad for a cosmetic brand. I'm not gonna click it, but even if I wanna click it, I can't because this is a non-clickable ad. What it has a QR code that I can scan, and it also tags me. If I search for this brand the next day or a few days later, this sale will get attributed to this campaign. Currently, Amazon moved this away from sponsored brands. It's not called streaming TV, it's called sponsored TV. And I would say that they changed something because this exact campaign that you see here that was run a few months ago, we tried it again. The result is 0 return on ad spend. Same settings, same everything. But I have good news. What happens if you try to run this campaign through DSP? When you run it through DSP, you get similar targeting options. You can target different audiences. You can target different categories. It's top of funnel. But what you can actually do, and this is the most powerful thing, you can create an audience that is from the people who have viewed your video. And this is not something that you can do through AMC. But in DSP, you can actually scale this thing. Like you can run the same video that you run inside Amazon Seller Central. You can reach maybe 100,000 customers, 500,000, 1 million, I don't know. And after that, you can create an audience and you can start bombarding them with clickable ads. And this is where DSP gets very powerful. It's all the retargeting options and creating different audiences. So now we moved away from, hey, it's a late Friday night, I'm watching TV shows and an ad interrupts me, to, all right, I've seen this ad somewhere and now I'm getting bombarded with clickable ads for this product. Maybe I will click it now because first of all, I can click it. And like I told you in the beginning, this thing that I showed you about the customer loyalty dashboard, it is partially connected to the next stuff that I'm showing about DSP. Because DSP actually, unlike Amazon Marketing Services inside Seller Central, it gives you the option to see how many subscribers you got through the Subscribe and Save program. In Amazon, that's a little bit of a wild guess. Recently they introduced an ASIN level breakdown, but you cannot see where those customers come from. So what you can do here is for each creative, you can see how many people have actually subscribed to your product. And this is very powerful because now you can make data-driven decisions. And if you're a cosmetic brand or a brand that sells products that need to be purchased frequently, this gives you a lot of insight on how you can scale your products. And another thing that you can do, for example, this is just a wild, top of my mind come up in it. You have a cosmetic product that's 2 times more expensive than everything else that's ranked in the top 10 positions on Amazon. But you see on your website that when somebody purchases your product, they tend to continue to purchase it again. So what does this mean? This means that you have a very high initial price point that's very scary for a lot of customers, because when I purchase something, I want to be sure that I'm getting the value for my money. And like I said, at the end of the day, Amazon is a price comparison website. I'm not sure what I'm purchasing if it's an unknown to me brand. So what you can actually do is you can set a very high subscribe and save coupon. So this stopped for me to purchase, like this price, this is not stopping me anymore, because I know that I can purchase this product, for example, if I subscribe with maybe 40% discount. And now we go to the price point of the other competitors. But from the data I have from my site, I know that once people purchase this product, they continue to buy it because it's super high quality. So what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to structure this if I need to run campaigns? I can run some sponsored TV ads and tell them about my product, how amazing it is. Like, I can have some comparison videos. I can have some testimonials. This is the top of funnel. After that, we get to the price, but I can do a subscribe and save coupon that is 40%. And after that, I can have some amazing creatives. I can have an audience from all the people that have already seen some video of my product. So they're not top of funnel now, they're middle of funnel. And I can bombard them with ads that are clickable and ads where they see that they can get a 40% discount. And this is how you lower the initial stop of those customers, why they don't want to buy your products. And you turn them into repeat customers with the subscribe and save program. And as we saw in the beginning, there's a correlation between the access of the people that have subscribed and the total sales that you're getting. And this is just an example of a strategy that we started implementing in August. As you can see, for this brand from January to, I would say, August, it's almost a flat line. This is the subscription count. So even though people like this brand, and we see that there are some repeat purchases, those people are not subscribers. So we still need to pay to acquire them and get our product into their hands. So what we started doing is we started pushing creatives with that communicate the subscribe and save. We started giving initial coupons for subscribe and save. And as you can see, in October, we did 40K in revenue just from subscribe and save. Another thing here I would like to share with you is a strategy for Prime Day. You can get very good results with sponsored display ads on Amazon. And what you do is you basically retarget people that have viewed your product. And this works very well on big shopping events like Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or when you're running deals, lightning deals with very big discounts, because then the buyer intent is very high. You can also achieve similar results when you advertise with similar to advertised products targeting. And another golden nugget that is again for DSP, when you create audiences, like if you want to target subscribe and save, you can actually target people that have subscribed and saved to competitor brands. For example, I have a list of the top competitors that are for my product. I can create an audience for it, and I can target only people that I know have subscribed to their products. This means that if I can acquire those customers, they will be maybe loyal to me. Christo, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I wanted to take this one. So yeah, I wanted to share this very cool software with you that we've been using for a while. It's called Keyshot, and it helps you with the 3Ds of your products, because I'm sure that most of you are already using 3Ds instead of actual images, because they're just better. They look more crisp, perfect in a sense, with better lighting. But how to make it even easier is using these software called Keyshot, which you input your 3Ds inside, and then you can rotate it. You can do whatever renders you want. You can put studio lighting, you can put natural lighting. So basically you can play with it so that, as you can see, these 3Ds on the right, we've created with Keyshot, and they really look outstanding compared to, images, in my opinion, in 99% of the time. Only if it's some very specific product that maybe doesn't look very good on 3D, you can go along and take photos of it, but in general, you can create great 3Ds with that. And the next slide, Rado, is a little nugget.
All right,
again.
I can take that. This is yeah. So
yeah, go ahead. I know you're excited for it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. When you run sponsored brand headline ads, it is against the term of service to have text inside the creative. But Amazon are a little bit sloppy during big shopping events, and you can actually have creatives with text inside during those sales events. And this is something that not a lot of brands are doing. Like, some of are exploiting this very heavily, but it's not something common, because sometimes even when you upload the image as a headline creative, you get an error that this image contains text and it would not be accepted. But guess what? It gets accepted. So next time there's a Prime Day or next Black Friday, I strongly advise you to try this if this loophole is still available, because it's just so powerful. Your click-through rate is through the roof with that.
Yeah.
Right. And Christo, you can take this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for this, Rado. It was amazing. I hope that people were able to take and remember most of it, but we'll be sharing this presentation anyway. So yeah, just a few key takeaways. Basically, Amazon right now is offering more and more comprehensive tools. We've been asking for that for many years, actually, and finally they're listening at least a little bit and providing these new dashboards and things you can use to be more precise with your targeting. So of course all of these can lead to optimized return on investment, better customer engagement, and brand loyalty. And Yeah, Amazon's toolset is not just about providing data at the end of the day. It's about offering actionable insights that can lead to tangible improvements in customer relations and business outcomes for you. So make the best of it. And for the end, we have prepared a special offer for all the listeners of Post Purchase Pro. If you follow that QR code, you can go to our website and book a call with me and just write somewhere in the form that you're coming from Post Purchase Pros, and you receive a free audit on your account and 20% discount on all of our services. I'll also throw in our ebook as well, because there's a lot of valuable information inside. And thank you for having us today, guys.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. That was some good content.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're happy to hear that.
Awesome. Well, Cristo and Rado were the last presenters for this. So thank you, everybody, for coming to the masterclass. Really appreciate it. We'll be seeing y'all next month. Well, not the exact same people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and sign off here. Thank you.